I already know there's going to be a lot of hate and assumptions made about this video just based on the title alone. There's so much talk about mental health awareness, promoting the idea that those struggling should speak out and get some help. But whenever people do speak out, they're called attention seekers. You're the problem, who demand that people struggling with mental health and inner battles speak up, but then they get ridiculed and bullied and ignored when done. I am doing this for absolutely everyone out there struggling with mental health who doesn't get taken seriously, who speaks up only to be told they're begging for attention, to be told their issues aren't important. I'm doing this for you, to show that you can stand up for yourself and not accept this treatment. You deserve better. And if you claim to not be one of those to deny mental health issues and to support them, you will watch this and hear about everything that has happened which led to suicidal thoughts of my own. And I have evidence to show that certain individuals involved in Change the Channel have done almost everything that they have accused Channel Awesome of doing. However, that does not in any way imply that Channel Awesome are innocent. They are not. My opinion on that company hasn't changed whatsoever. A lot of things have been said about me, some complete lies, some twisted out of context. I am not jumping ship to the other side. I am in no way here to defend Channel Awesome, nor do I take back anything I previously said about them. I do not support Channel Awesome, condone their actions, or take back anything I previously stated about the company as a whole. However, a lot of incidents within Change the Channel took place that I need to address. I am not disregarding my previous documentary or the not so awesome Google document, nor am I calling it entirely disingenuous. But there are certain things that have been twisted from the truth that I think that you guys should be aware of, that these people are keeping from you. This is the absolute final time I'll be addressing this group of people. Not on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, nothing. These people are no longer worth my or your attention. Comments and likes are disabled because I have literally no interest in continuing this saga any further. I'm dropping this video to expose what kind of people they are, and then I'm moving on with my life. I am done with it. This is my final say. These people have shown a mockery of mental health, complete disregard for people in dire need of psychological help, disgusting, discriminatory and bigoted behaviour, and a total hypocritical view filled with double standards based on their own grievances towards other individuals. Also, I previously received abuse for showing screenshots of private conversations, but why wasn't this an issue 2 years ago? Change the Channel literally began with a Google document that aired out private conversations exposing Channel Awesome's antics from Rob Walker, and there's even an audio recording of Mike Machad put out there without his consent, which is against the law. Why is it only okay when it's against Channel Awesome? You're having a go at me for showing private conversations, but it's okay for Change the Channel to do it? I feel like I have to show certain screenshots to defend myself and prove that some of these people are lying to you. In 2010, I was browsing the Channel Awesome forum where fans could submit their own videos, and that's how I discovered Darren, aka the Rap Critic. I was working on a musical week at the time and contacted him to see if he would be down for a crossover review of Moulin Rouge, and he agreed. There's a gag involved where Ewan McGregor's character is portraying his fascination with the act of love, and I use a homophobic slur.
Love.
Faggot.
Sissy.
Pansy.
Sissy.
This was in the script and not improvised, but neither of us saw it as a big deal at the time. The review dropped and nobody really cared. A few months later, Darren actually made it onto Channel Awesome and offered to post that review for me, which was insanely nice of him. Hey, would you mind if I put a review of Moulin Rouge up on that guy with the glasses? I'll just link it from your blip page. Is that cool? Also, some people might take offense to the word faggot. Could you change that or not? However, I was lazy back then and also felt like it was no big deal. Both of us did, so I just said it couldn't be done. Darren posted it anyway, and the comments were filled with angry fans outraged at the homophobia. The gag wasn't intended to be insulting homosexuals, but to be calling Ewan's character a sissy for having such a sensitive side, much like the word pansy or wimp. Bear in mind, these fans that got so angry at the comment were on a website where this happened.
Real gay, sissy gay, 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 sissy gay, gay, butt sex, Astroglide, glory hole, ball.
I spoke to Darren about it and he admitted that he also thought the slur was no big deal. Cool commentary. Funny thing is, Diamanda Hagen, a lesbian, was completely fine with it, and that's why I was okay with it at first. And yeah, I didn't think people would give a shit either, but you gotta remember, people love being pissed off at shit. It wasn't until later that Darren suddenly had a problem with it after already admitting that people just want to be offended and upset about things for no reason. 2014 rolled around and I began working on the 5-year anniversary of my show. I decided to parody the Nicolas Cage movie adaptation, but it was a meta-style short film to get my emotions out as I was feeling low, in a slump with creativity in the world of YouTube. I wanted to express how I was feeling on camera. I had a friend who knew Noah Antweiler, aka Spoonie, and I joked about them asking him to appear. But lo and behold, he agreed and did it free of charge in no time at all. A lot has been said about Noah, but personally, he was a lot of fun to work with and was absolutely fine towards me. In late 2016, I was shown E-Rob, the Blockbuster Buster. I'd never heard of him before and didn't even know he had been on their site in the past. He was into Boldly Flea, but only for a few seconds, but I was shown his early videos which, like anyone's, weren't very good. I decided to do a response, defending Batman Forever and insulting his video. It was a poor review in my mind and I kept it at that. Nothing personal was said, but I received a lot of backlash from his fans sending me endless hate. I was amazed, and despite feeling like I had done nothing wrong, I still felt guilty and dropped him an email. Hey, I'm not sure if E-Rod will actually read this and it may be null and void, but hey, man's gotta try. I doubt you've heard of me, but on YouTube I'm CinematicVenom. Late last year I did an In Defense of Batman Forever video responding to your review. I thought nothing of it until after a few months. A backlash erupted where I got a huge shitstorm for attacking you. A lot of people thought it was a personal attack because I made jokes at your expense, much like I would with a movie I'd be talking about. I just wanted to apologise if it came across that way. It was also unfair dare to attack a video as old as that one of yours. I also did one towards Doug, which got the same treatment, but again, it was the content and not the producer I had an issue with. I hope you didn't take it to heart and can forgive me anyway. No hard feelings, man. I've been doing this for 8 years. Part of putting yourself out there is setting yourself up as a target to be ridiculed and parodied. So counterpoint videos are nothing I haven't experienced before. Never stop expressing yourself. Just make sure to be fearless and, more importantly, creative. Erod. It was actually around this time, even before Change the Channel started, when Erod's wife Marsha began commenting on a lot of videos of mine. I wanted to address the elephant in the room and pointed out my video on her husband, which she had still yet to see, which didn't go down too well. It really upset her. I felt bad and privated the video before reaching out to contact her privately to apologise. In March 2018, I literally just finished watching the Nostalgia Critic review of the Jungle Book remake when I saw on Twitter news of the controversy. I was stuck in a rabbit hole reading through thread after thread about the horrific stories of working at Channel Awesome. I've not watched a single Nostalgia Critic episode since, which is a lot more than I can say for a lot of other people supporting Change the Channel. It was all over Twitter and Channel Awesome began to lose subscribers. This seemed like the perfect opportunity to mock Channel Awesome and have some fun in the process. I used my regular characters from my show and I did a comedy sketch sending it to those involved with Change the Channel. Alison and some others replied, much to my surprise, and loved it. Though of course that slur was used once again, which got some minor backlash. I'd like to point out that these were some friends of mine on Skype who changed their names and sent those messages through. I had no idea what they were typed, but it's true I could have cut it out, but I didn't for reasons that we'll come back to later. Marsha would often tell me to talk to her husband Erod about a crossover, but he was always far too busy. However, he did agree to a cameo in one of my videos last year, which was awesome. He did it quickly, professionally, and free of charge. However, as a thank you, I sent him some money for his 300th episode anyway, which he really appreciated and gave me a shout out for.
Rob Bohr, who's a fellow content creator, which is crazy. A guy who is trying to make his own videos, trying to do his own thing, donated from his own money to me, to a person who essentially is his competition. Now that takes a lot of balls and a lot of integrity, so thank you so much, Rob.
Things quietened down quite a bit in the months that followed until the start of this year. In January, I did a pilot of a new show called Creator Critique aimed at Deji during his entire beef with his brother KSI. I reviewed his channel and the entire ordeal. People liked it and then requested me to do Channel Awesome next, which would have been a much bigger project. As the production began, I realised it was far too big to be a normal creator critique. It was basically a documentary. I made the Channel Awesome documentary as an outsider, and despite many times denying it, it was clearly biased. It's impossible to tell the story from Channel Awesome's side when they've refused to tell it, but I made absolutely no attempt to contact anyone at Channel Awesome before making the documentary, and I should have. When the documentary dropped, it gained the attention of a lot of people formerly associated with Channel Awesome. Mars Girl, Obscurus Looper, and Holly tweeted about it, as did Suede, who had some fears of the documentary's existence. Marsha had informed me about her and Erod watching it. Linkara referenced it in passing and Erod confirmed he saw it. I was emailed by Ian Liz. Kyle Corcoran was asked about it. Brad mentioned the backlash he was getting because of it. I was invited on Toon Grin's podcast. I never imagined this much attention. Bear in mind that I've been doing this for 12 years at this point, and this is what I'd always wanted. I wanted this for so long that I actually held back and disallowed myself to be my true self. Many times I would act disingenuous or just not be entirely myself because I didn't want this to end. With this many new eyes on my channel, I didn't want this to stop. I didn't want to blow this huge opportunity, often censoring myself. Furthermore, my anxiety adds to my low self-esteem. So when you've got thousands of people now hurling opinions at you, some saying you're doing the right thing, others telling you to drop dead, anxiety goes through the roof and you don't know how to deal with it. In the documentary, I apologise for the previously mentioned homophobic slur, but I don't think I should have. I literally did this because I just wanted to make myself look better. I didn't want to be lumped into the same pile of negativity as Channel Awesome. If you look at the whole context of that joke, it was clear that it wasn't a homophobic jab. Alison has constantly said context matters, but for this, for some reason, people still seem to ignore the context. It was just a joke and nothing more. I explained the difference in my diss track.
But the way I used it was never once directed or intended as homophobic. No B-rabbit, perfectly wrapped it. Tyler Oakley's gay, Doug Walker's a faggot. Context is a concept you can't comprehend.
I even explained the intent in the documentary. Although I intended it to mean that the character was a wimp, not gay, there's a huge difference between a gay joke and going up to a random homosexual and calling them the F word. Danny, aka the Cinematic Mind, is gay and is one of my best friends, and if I was such a homophobe, why would I have portrayed a gay character and acted out a gay scene with him in his bed? And in one of the bloopers, I even pretend to try to get him to go down on me. I had a gay friend called Hayden. I pretend to go down on him in one video. Chris Rock even did an entire bit about this.
You don't have to be gay to act like a faggot. You don't even have to be a man to act like a faggot. Anybody can act like a faggot. Let me give you an example. I love Gwen Stefani. If I'm driving my car and I'm at the light and you in the car behind me and the light's red and I'm just sitting there blasting some Gwen Stefani and I'm just like, ain't no holler back, girl. And you in the car behind me and the light's red, cool. But then the light turned green and I don't see it because I'm in Gwen Stefani heaven. Now the light starts fucking blinking. It's getting ready to turn red again and I still don't see it. If you in that car behind me, you have the right to go, hey, faggot, the light's about to change. It's not the word. It's the context in which the word is being said.
Context is key, but people constantly forget about that whilst stating it. More on all of that later on. Not long after the documentary dropped, Marsha had informed me that she and her husband cried their eyes out watching it. I was then contacted privately by the man himself. People don't seem to understand that I didn't receive this information in small increments. I learned everything in this documentary during a 2-hour conversation with Linkara. Every word was like cold bullets to my sternum, and yet you still stuck around to hear what Channel Awesome had to say about it.
Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until Channel Awesome administration makes a statement, then I'll make my decision.
6 years of my life were dedicated to Channel Awesome. 6 years of defending them, promoting them, sacrificing for them, and then in the span of 2 hours, I found out that it was all for nothing. That I was feeding a ravenous beast that was never going to show me affection. These were people I dedicated the last 6 years of my life to. Abusers, opportunists, and cowards. I felt sick for days, like I wanted to throw up but there was nothing in my stomach. I wanted to lash out and put together a video very similar to yours, but I was advised repeatedly not to, as it would come across as biased, and I could potentially expose victims that would like to remain anonymous. I've done my best to step back and let Doug and Mike destroy themselves, but I can't help but entertain the desire to lash out and expedite the process. All those thoughts have been eating away at my soul for a year, and then came your video. Thank you for this, Rob. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We needed this. The fans needed this. The world needed this. In this day of age of easily accessible media, the current generation doesn't have the time to read, let alone understand a Google document. Videos are the language of today. So why didn't you all make a video in the first place then? So again, thank you for articulating all this information in a way that all the viewers could understand, because they need to know just who they've been supporting, who they've been feeding, and that the beast will never return their affection. Erod. The next day, Erod posted a video endorsing the documentary and begging people to go and watch it immediately.
Yesterday, Rob Bohr of CinematicVenom released a comprehensive and detailed documentary about the Change the Channel movement. You need to go watch that video now. I have asked all of you, my fans, my viewers, in the past to do things before, donate, help out. I've never begged. For the first time ever in my internet video production career, I am begging you to do something for your own good. Follow the link in the description box below. Watch Rob's video.
Unfortunately, he started to receive death threats in response, so I apologized to him and checked to see that he was okay. After the documentary's views started to rise, I was advised to capitalize on this. That's right, I was actually advised to do this by former Channel Awesome producer Mike Jevons. Unfortunately, with this many new eyes on me, any slip-up, any mistake, past or present, was going to be used against me. And that's exactly what happened. Holly, Kaylin, and I believe a few other former Channel Awesome contributors were sent a bunch of information about me in my past, because apparently when you're a public entertainer, you're supposed to have made absolutely zero mistakes as a human being and to be completely squeaky clean. Holly confronted me immediately and I pled my case, so let's go through the email. Hello, just wanted to say I have some very serious concerns about the CinematicVenom person. I was initially impressed by his Change the Channel documentary until I found out some very disturbing information about Venom. First off, he admitted to making rape jokes about Tamra, but this was another thing that I said sorry over, but I don't think I should have. The thing is, they're jokes. I'll be coming back to this argument a lot later on, but just because something is dark, you don't have to be offended.
I swear that y'all are mad at everything that don't affect your life. Hey, I swear that y'all believe that being offended just means that you're right. Hey, if someone says retard, it ruins your weekend, and that's retarded.
I like to think I offend everyone and therefore no one, because it's kind of a blanket bombing approach to offence. It's like I'm not picking on any group, and also I'm not really making any points, am I? I'm just trying to make you laugh for a couple of hours. That's my only job in this world. I'm not trying to make any points or change anyone's mind about anything. And the best defence of a joke is always, it's just a joke. I was only joking. Relax, we're just trying to make you giggle.
I'm not saying you have to find it funny, that's fair. Don't find it funny, don't laugh. I've never met anyone in the world who dislikes Blazing Saddles, and trust me, we'll be coming back to this because all that stuff you heard about me and Blazing Saddles, complete lies. But Blazing Saddles had rape jokes.
You said rape twice.
I like rape.
South Park, rape jokes.
In John 3:16, the gospel tells us how God so loved the world, he gave to us his only son. And a Catholic priest raped him.
Eminem, rape jokes. When Doug started out, how even to this day, many people consider Batman and Robin his best episode.
Rape my childhood, will you?
A rape joke. How about Garbage Pail Kids?
I feel raped. I feel, honest to God, raped by this movie.
A rape joke, and you all supported that anyway. That was when Doug was at his peak, and you still loved him regardless. Jimmy Carr, Frankie Boyle.
I do love it when a woman says those magic words that mean she's definitely up for sex that night. This drink tastes funny. I'm joking, you can't taste it.
They're jokes that are dark but are an acquired taste. But when we supposed edgelords, don't worry, we'll come back to that, say they're just jokes, you seem to think we're laughing at you for being offended. We're not. We're stating a fact. Humor is subjective. I believe anything can be joked about. You clearly don't. What's the big deal?
You've made a distinction between what is okay to poke fun at and what isn't. Either it's all okay, or none of it is.
Who was harmed by me making this joke? Serious question. Second, he claimed one of his former friends, Jimmy, sexually harassed someone. Then he later admitted he lied about it, all because Jimmy blocked him on Twitter. This was not all because Jimmy, aka my movie obsession, blocked me on Twitter. Talk about only one side leaving vital details out. Jimmy has admitted there was fault on his side as well, and we both handled this poorly. There was miscommunication and my anxiety. It causes thoughts that I'm learning to overcome. We overthink everything. So tiny incidents with Jimmy and girls, I overthought and exasperated and blew them out of proportion and twisted the context. I was completely in the wrong, got angry, overreacted, and was an asshole. Me and Jimmy worked things out and we're close bros again, and he's even got a girl now. He's happy. He's over it. Why aren't you? He also harassed his old friend Will and slut-shamed Will's girlfriend. This is in regards to the movie Doctorful on YouTube. We fell out and I thought it'd be funny to create a character based on him and even set up a Twitter in his name to poke fun. I've apologised to Will for this. Funny how none of you had a problem when I created a character based on Doug Walker and made fun of him though, whilst constantly tweeting Channel Awesome harassment until they blocked me though. Am I right? I don't apologise for the character. That was a satirical piece of creativity and in my opinion a funny parody. But the Twitter was too far and I'm sorry. However, the stuff revolving his now ex-girlfriend was wrong and disgusting behaviour. I dragged her into an online thing that shouldn't have been and I'll forever apologise for that. Last but definitely not least, he defended Ben Shapiro's claims that being transgender is a mental illness. If you're a frequent viewer, I have made jokes about trans people in the past. Things like, I identify as a tree! That's clearly a joke.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of Americans not understanding sarcasm.
The Ben Shapiro thing, allow me to explain. I knew nothing about transgender people. Nothing at all. Ben Shapiro also isn't that well known over here. At least I had no idea who he was. I was then shown a debate with Ben Shapiro and a woman where this happened.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex, so.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing, it's still from society?
No, it is not in the mind, okay? You're not a man if you think you're a man. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. And I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are. For all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms. No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true.
I knew nothing about trans people, and I'm a big science guy, often using it to debunk, in my opinion, the existence of God or the paranormal and supernatural. But seeing this guy say these things about a topic I knew nothing about made sense to me. I didn't tweet about this, nor did I make a video. I was asked on Curious Cat, do you believe transgender is a mental illness? And I said yes. That was it, because I was ignorant and knew nothing about it. My partner knows transgender people, and I now know a lot more about them. Of course it's not a mental illness. And I can't even begin to comprehend the pain they have to go through, not only from the mockery from others, but the frustration that they're not in the body or the gender they feel they should have or be in. And it's also just really closed-minded and insensitive for Shapiro, or anyone for that matter, to be so stubborn and arrogant as to refuse to take no less time to use a preferred pronoun to make another human being more comfortable. It must be insanely difficult, and I'm sorry that I added to that. Just so you know, I think what you went through at Channel Awesome was horrible and indefensible, but I'm deeply concerned about Venom's involvement with ChangeTheChannel. I doubt any of the contributors to the Not So Awesome movement would approve of someone like Venom being involved with the movement, let alone making a doc about it. I just wanted to tell you because the last thing I want is for ChangeTheChannel to get discredited because of Venom being an awful person. I explained myself to Holly. She accepted my apologies, and all was good. I'm a firm believer that people can change and be better than they were. You've made apologies, and that goes a long way in my book. It'd be pretty hypocritical of me to say that's what I want from Channel Awesome, but then not accept that you've apologized for being an edgelord. Like I said before, I'd be a hypocrite and ChangeTheChannel would be pointless if I didn't accept that people can grow and learn and change and become better people. The fact that you publicly addressed and apologized for some of these things says a lot about your character. I was then contacted by Mike and informed that someone was impersonating me on Reddit. This is still being used against me to this day, people believing this was actually me. Someone by the name of Cinematic_Venom was posting on Reddit praising serial killers and wishing death upon Doug, his brother Rob, and the entirety of Channel Awesome. Not only is this ridiculous because, well, firstly, if I wanted to do something as disturbing as this, why would I use my own channel name and not hide my identity? Secondly, I was was sent images of dead bodies on Facebook, bodies of the recent shooting victims. I know that doesn't narrow it down, but I was really disturbed by this and contacted the authorities over it. Why would I do that if I was doing the same thing? Thirdly, I don't think I've ever properly used Reddit in my life. I've been on Reddit to read some of these posts, and I believe a couple of years ago I might have made an account to share some of my videos, but that's it. And I was also accused of wishing death on Doug and Rob's father Barney, claiming I made some joke and hoped he committed suicide in one of my comedy sketches. All of the sketches are still up. By all means, watch them and find the clip in question. It doesn't exist. Remember, Change the Channel supporters hated Brad for making accusations without any evidence, so give me evidence of this. The closest thing there is to the gag that they've created in their mind is this. Oh, hey, look, there's Barney! Hey, you just shot my dad! It's a joke, a parody, a satirical spoof, a sketch. These people were just trying to find absolutely anything about me to use. I do feel bad about the news former Channel Awesome producers are getting about Brad Jones and how they feel about it. But I'm frustrated they're getting it from CV and not once found out that he condones the N-word and is a pro-lifer. Didn't condone the N-word, but don't worry, we'll pay for your reading lessons. We'll come back to this later. The pro-lifer thing was also twisted out of context. This is something I was simply asked on Curious Cat, and again, my opinion seems to be the holy grail to these people. Can't have me feeling differently to them now, can we? I think there's a misconception. I'm personally against abortion, yes, but I do not judge those who do it. I also don't think it should be illegal. I've not judged or attacked anyone for aborting a child, but I get judged or attacked for my thoughts. Brilliant. Why are people so angry that I'm anti-abortion? If a woman chooses to abort, I don't snap at her and flip because she's pro-abortion. That's her choice, so why doesn't it work the other way around? Grow up. Why does my opinion affect your life? Why does my political opinion on such a graphic topic make me less of a person than you? I personally wouldn't want my partner to have an abortion unless it was hazardous to her or the baby's health and or survival. But ultimately, it's her body and it's her decision. I do believe the father should have a say in it, but it's her deciding factor. But I don't attack or judge anyone else who has one or considers one. I even publicly said Alabama were morons for making them illegal. Rich was then instantly blocked when this person was proven wrong. They really don't like that, do they? It was also pointed out that I was misogynistic. I used to be. I've never hidden this. I even had an autobiography that was public for 3 years, going into vivid details of it during my life. I was a really angry teenager and it continued in my early 20s, having a lot of rage towards women for how they had treated me, and I lashed out, treating them poorly in return. I even reached out to a bunch of them to apologise, and we worked things out, remaining friends. And look at that date! This was before the documentary. This message might just come across weird or not mean much, but I felt obligated to send it. I just want to apologise. I've been going through a lot of self-reflection and I'm ashamed of a lot of my actions in the past, especially how I've made others feel. I've dramatised a lot of things and I'm also disgusted with how I've treated a lot of women in the past, whether I toyed with emotions or just sexualised them. Again, you've probably not even thought about it since, but I just wanted to offer my deepest apologies and assure you that I've changed since then, and I'm a better man because of it. I hope you're doing well. Again, they're over it. Why aren't you? I've had a girlfriend for 3 years now, which doesn't automatically rule me out as being a misogynist, but what, do you think I just tie her to the stove and force her to make me sandwiches all day? In fact, I actually prepare the meals before she gets home from work. I'm the bitch. Now that'll be used against me? Sexist term. I will happily admit, she runs this relationship. I'm awful with money, so she handles my finances. I literally have to ask permission to spend any money. Congratulations, I have now outed myself as a pussy and had to expose my personal life to prove you wrong about your lies. Would a misogynist let the woman run things in the relationship? Yes, I make sexist jokes, but that doesn't automatically make me a sexist. So a lot of people think I did the doc for the money. This isn't true. It was actually claimed for the music, so I've not made a penny. However, I'm appealing it. Just wanted you to know, if it gets cleared, I want to give the ad revenue I make from it to the former Channel Awesome producers and split it between you all. I wouldn't feel right making money off of the pain you all went through, and you all deserve it more. You really don't need to. You made the doc. We all went through various things, some much worse than others. We'll probably give it to charity, to be honest, but thank you. People are always going to make claims like that. Don't worry about it. Please don't do that. Don't listen to those people. You put time and labour into that video, so you should be compensated. Reporters and documentarians get paid for their work. Why not you? Anyone who takes issues with you being compensated for working hard is a fucking idiot not worth your attention. Following Mike's advice, I did a video discussing my past and how to avoid a repeat of Channel Awesome and how we can learn from their mistakes. People seem to like it. I then began doing reactions to Channel Awesome fans defending their heroes, and the former contributors responded and found them really funny, as you can see, and it made for entertaining content. I have a series where my subscribers send me questions via Curious Cat anonymously, and of course a lot were about Change the Channel and Channel Awesome, and the show was a big hit. People enjoyed them and a lot making them, so I continued doing so. Around this time I was contacted by Ryan Mitchell. Hi Rob, it's possible you might know who I am, but in case I just made myself feel more important than I am, let me introduce myself. I'm Ryan Mitchell. I am Brad Jones' friend and occasional creative partner. I have known Brad for over 15 years. I've been following the Change the Channel saga from its genesis and been heartbroken to see so many on my friends and both sides be damaged from everything involved. I know that I'm not a completely neutral party, but I've tried to remain impartial and let this controversy run its course to its eventual conclusion. I watched your documentary, and while I can offer little insight to the claims and responses, I have worked with Brad and the Channel Awesome crew in the past few months. I do not represent Channel Awesome, and I do not represent Brad Jones, let me make that clear. I worry that the foundation of this entire controversy is the lack of communication and refusal to listen on all sides. I'm reaching out to now attempt to offer a point of view that you haven't had before. Someone who has seen the anguish, the anger and the confusion firsthand, but from the other side. I hope to establish a dialogue with the purpose of de-escalating what is a very tense situation. It has been made clear that harassment and threats have been experienced by everyone, and I'm very concerned that with the recent escalation there is a risk someone could get hurt. I do not want to fight, I do not want to argue, I do not want a Twitter feud. I only want to listen in hopes you will do the same. If you are willing, I'd love to talk over Skype or another method if you prefer. If nothing else, thank you for reading this. I was a bit weary, so I recorded this conversation but was pleasantly surprised. We had a nice civilized chat and spoke about possibly getting the Channel Awesome team together with the Change the Channel crew to talk out their issues in a big conference call, which was the entire point of Change the Channel to begin with. The entire point was to get Channel Awesome to listen. I relayed this message. Full Fantastic agreed to the call, Mars Girl agreed, Holly wanted a public apology first, which is understandable, but according to Kaylin later warmed up to the idea, Mike seemed down, and this is when the situation with Erod escalated. Erod was avoiding social media to avoid spoilers for Endgame. During that time I still checked that he was okay and informed him of the Ryan Mitchell situation. He was the only one to have a single problem with it. I woke up one morning to this message. Rob, stop talking to me like we're friends. I appreciate what you've done and I've tried to be professional. Messaging someone who made a video explaining how much it meant to you isn't professional. You were up all night crying over this video and then called in sick from work the next day. Your wife's own words, wow, oh my god, told you your doc had an impact. He had to call out of work due to no sleep. He has to be up at 2 a.m. but woke up at midnight telling me he couldn't sleep because he was thinking about the video. I advised he call out and he did. Calling in sick from work because you were crying over a YouTube video isn't professional. Taking constant jabs at your former employees all over social media and YouTube isn't professional.
By the way, feeding the actors and making sure that they have water while they're working is an industry standard. I figured you should know that if you want to make films or videos in your future.
Admitting you can't help but lash out at them isn't professional. But these messages to me and my affiliates have to stop. You weren't there. You didn't experience what we experienced. We'll ignore the fact that Erod didn't experience anything and he admitted this.
I don't have any traumatic stories or incidents to reveal here. While my experience with Channel Awesome hasn't always been perfect, I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of trauma.
And the fact that he still acted sad and dramatic in his endorsement video like he personally was kidnapped and tortured in a basement by Doug Walker. Regardless, upon this, I contacted the only affiliates of Erod that I had interacted with. He basically said we're not friends. I should stop messaging his affiliates and pretending I was there for the Channel Awesome stuff, which I don't think I did. No, you made it very clear you were just a fan. You don't know. You weren't there, I wasn't there, Channel Awesome and these 40 people were. Feel free to tell me if I overstepped the mark with any of my Channel Awesome videos. I'm just baffled. I mean, no, I wouldn't say so. I don't know how much or to what extent you two spoke, but he possibly got overwhelmed with it all and it was the easy way out. If this was the case, talk to me like an adult, that'd be professional. Or he saw stuff like what I sent you before in the screenshots. I don't know, man, I'm sorry. I feel like Erod, he's a well-meaning guy, but kind of says a lot of things I wouldn't say. But if that doesn't convince you enough, thank you for checking up on me. You can feel free to shoot me a message anytime. At what point did any of these affiliates not want my contact again, Erod? It's pretty damn insulting that you act like you did. Not to mention this whole goodwill ambassador act is in poor taste. What act? Me not liking abuse is an act. Are you actually that cynical? I did the documentary for a series, you endorsed it. I made fun of Channel Awesome fans, you enjoyed it. As did my audience, so I did more. Furthermore, if everything you went through was so bad, why are some of you still friends with Doug on Facebook? I don't know about you, but if someone abused me and my mates for a decade and allowed others to do it too, I wouldn't really want anything to do with them. And I know you're gonna say maybe they don't realise. I mean, Erod doesn't use Facebook a whole lot, but what about right here when Marsha openly admits that she knows she's still friends with Doug? Why? I thought he was a horrible person who ruined your life. But hey, apparently everyone hated working on To Boldly Flee. Doug was the only one who wasn't miserable. Except Linkara. Yeah, Lewis kind of screwed your whole argument there, didn't he? But if To Boldly Flee was so horrible to work on, why the hell did Erod reference it in his 300th episode?
You watch my show?
Of course, man. Watch mine, don't you?
Yeah. Never miss it. Nobody reviews lamps like you do, pal.
Let's just quote a movie that psychologically and mentally and emotionally destroyed all of my friends. Not to mention the fact that he completely stole direct jokes from them as well.
This is gonna look awesome in the trailer.
The
trailer, okay? We're doing it for the trailer!
You hate Channel Awesome and are better than them, but even after Change the Channel, you still continue to rip off their material. So no more private messages or I will block you and delete my endorsement video. Some have said that I should have just left it there. He did warn me. However, that would make me a pretty big sellout, wouldn't it? Oh, I won't resolve this issue because then my video won't have support. No, I messaged again because as explained, with anxiety, you constantly blame yourself. You could skip a red light and crash into me and I would still apologize. This will be the last message I send, so I'll honor your request and leave you be. Firstly, I'm sorry. I did consider us friends as we spoke a lot and you accepted me on Facebook. That was my mistake. Secondly, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by the whole Goodwill Ambassador Act. The entire purpose of the documentary was to spread Change the Channel and get people to talk about it again. Not everyone wanted to talk about it, so I wanted to spread the word and you helped by sharing it. I'm sorry if I've gone about it the wrong way, but I never intended to act like I'd been there and I don't think I've acted that way. If I have, I apologize. That's about it. I'll leave you be as you wish. Take care. A lot of misconception was made about this message. People believing that I flipped just because Erod didn't want to be my friend. This isn't true. And a simple check of the dates will prove this. As you can see, this message was sent on April the 27th, 2019. My video exposing these screenshots is no longer publicly accessible, but luckily for everyone, I still have it on my hard drive and we can easily check that it didn't go up until July the 2nd, which this message from Holly in regards to it can confirm. So Erod sent this message and I threw my toys around that he didn't want to be my friend 2 months later. Just to further prove my point, amidst this, I continued my responses to Channel Awesome fans and on May the 23rd, after Erod had sent his message and treated me this way, this happened.
This is why I have to say that Erod should be ashamed of himself.
Erod should be ashamed of himself. How dare he be abused? How dare he defend his friends? I defended Erod, despite the message and how he had acted. In fact, just recorded another reaction to my doc. Eric gets proper shit on in the video, so I do defend him a lot. Best not to tell him or show him. I don't want to piss him off again, lol. Well, I appreciate it. I hope you know that. Anytime. Like I say, I have no problem with him. I was so bitter and determined to expose him. Every single person I asked had no idea why Erod acted this way. Weird, yeah, I don't know. There it is. Deleted his endorsement video and blocked me. I'm sorry that happened. Would you be okay with it if I discussed this with the core Change the Channel team? They asked me what happened to the Discord because they were concerned. It's Kaylin, Lewis, Will, Swade, and Allison. I'm sorry, I don't know why this happened. Looking back at my messages with them, Allison didn't seem to understand what exactly had made Erod so upset, including his wife. I felt low and like a burden, so I offered to just even step away from her, and she refused. Erod sent me quite a nasty message, removed his video, and blocked me. I'm not angry, but I am quite upset, confused, and hurt. I just don't want to piss him off more, so it's easier if I just leave you both alone. I'm sorry, he hasn't said anything to me. I'd rather not unfriend you. I've spoken to some former Channel Awesome producers and they're clueless as to what he's talking about, so I don't know, but I deleted the Change the Channel Discord. And I guess it's best I stop promoting Change the Channel. I was only trying to help and I've not messaged anyone else, so I'm just baffled. But I don't know, I'm out of town for my niece's wedding, but we have spoke. He just didn't say anything. I think he's just about fed up with Change the Channel. Sorry he did that. Hope you will at least stay in touch with me. This conversation went on for a bit as we both try to figure out what the hell is going on. Important to note. I understand, it's okay to be upset. I mean, I'm married to the guy and I really don't know anything. Maybe he got scared because he opened up to you so much. That message he sent you after your doc dropped was more heartfelt than I'd ever seen him do. Only thing I could figure from him blocking you is he told you not to contact him again, and if you did, he would. Why? I don't know. Only thing I can guess is that he felt like maybe you were going too far, but maybe you're crossing a line that he wasn't comfortable with. But that would only work if he knew that you had spoke to somebody from Channel Awesome or affiliated with them, which he did know. But he was the only one who had an issue with it, and didn't, act like an adult, a grown man, a professional, and talk to me. Also, Ryan came to me. He approached me, and Erod constantly said that he wanted a Skype call to work things out.
I don't see why we couldn't all just sat down, have a conference call, and come to some kind of a compromise here.
But then when I tried to do that, he's still not happy. It's just weird. For someone to complain about Channel Awesome for having communication issues, he then doesn't communicate. On Reddit, Holly suddenly claimed that when Ryan approached me, I should have simply passed him on to one of the former Channel Awesome producers instead of dealing with it myself. Then how come none of you said that at the time? Why did none of you have a problem at the time? And no, I'm not defending Channel Awesome. I feel like I have to say that a million times in this video just to get the point across, but I'm not. Just because Erod is acting like an arse doesn't make what Channel Awesome did okay. My point is, he's doing what he complained about Channel Awesome for doing. Look, I'm not going to justify his behavior. I'm definitely nothing to apologize for. What? I still like you. I still want you to be here. Cinema, your videos, talking about stuff, okay? If you don't feel comfortable with that, I understand. Just let me know, okay? My issue wasn't with Marsha, so I agreed to remain friends and not go public with this, which I didn't. I didn't really have a problem with Erod. He acted a bit of a dick, but I just figured I caught him on a bad day and he'd apologize after a week or two, which never happened. This whole misconception about me being so upset because I thought we were friends is ridiculous. Did I believe we were friends? Yeah. Is that the reason this whole thing happened? No. Holly has claimed on Reddit just retweeting doesn't make you a friend, ignoring all the constant messaging for advice, which he initiated, discussing movies, emotional support, and accepting a friend invite. Just ignore that. But please bear in mind that I have spoken to the likes of Tom Stockdale, Mac Lethal, Daz Games, Dwayne TV, Dan Ball, James Rolfe, Noah Antweiler, Rob Gavagan, all of whom have way more subscribers than Erod, and I have never once considered any of them a friend. But hey, it's funny that you all keep claiming that I was crying and whining because Erod didn't want to be my friend, but it's completely fine for Linkara to post this entire thread bitching about Doug not being his friend. He's literally crying because Doug didn't respond to him on Skype. So when I complain that I was mistreated, it's wrong, but when Lewis does it on Twitter, it's fine. Your response will be that him and Doug actually were friends for a long time. Sure, I get that, and this isn't a jab at Lewis, it's a jab at you people. I'm wrong for being annoyed at being mistreated, but you completely disregard it when your own group are doing the exact same thing. It's wrong for me to whine about being mistreated by Erod, but it's fine for Erod to cry on Twitter that Doug wouldn't give him a job. She even claimed me and Marsha are the only ones as far as I know to befriend him, which is a lie. She knew I was friends with Caleb. She knew that I spoke to her a lot. She knew that I was friends with Mike J. And I also spoke a lot with Dina, Cybercat. These are deliberate malicious lies that Holly knew weren't true and still spread them around for no reason other than to try to ruin my name. That's the thing, on Reddit, Holly said, Rob thinks that white people could say the N-word because Blazing Saddles did it. That's not what I said! And that was the thing that was spread everywhere and people just believed it instantly without looking into it. And I also find it funny that these people are the ones who claim that other people are lying, but in their own Google document they had some stories from Dr. Gonzo, which weren't entirely true. Juario Memorial episode being prevented from happening. Total fiction. This is something he made up at some point. Gonzo used this as an excuse to try to convince us that leaving the site was a good idea. Once we left and the idea of a memorial show was again brought up, he simply said he had zero interest in doing it. So everybody else is lying, but you literally put something in a Google document without actually researching whether or not it was true. And that was someone who worked with Gonzo. I guess this is someone else who's lying, right, guys?
I've read articles about me about all kinds of shit. I'm racist now. That I'm sexist. I think that there's been like I've been a pedophile. Oh, that I was hitting my girlfriend. These like horrific claims. I just have to take from the media. Who cares if there's a real person behind it, right?
And there was also a lie that I made some promise to not talk about Erod. This isn't true. Never promised he'd leave us alone, just because he didn't use the words I promised before saying I'll leave you alone. Okay, so I didn't promise. I said I wouldn't talk about him, and I didn't, until he continued his actions. That's what you and Holly don't seem to understand. She said this on Reddit too. Rob said he wouldn't talk about Erod, and then he did! But you're completely missing out why I did. You completely skip over the part of Erod talking to fans like shit. That seems to be okay as long as I don't talk about it. I told him I'd still be friends, but then he posted lies about my husband, never caring how it would affect me. 1, where are the lies? We'll go over this in a second, but where are they? You've never said. 2, this wasn't about you. Am I supposed to ignore how someone treats me because they have a spouse? None of you cared about how your actions would affect Doug's wife or Brad's wife or anyone else at Channel Awesome's family. I'm not saying what they did was okay. Again, reiterating, what they did was horrible. But why was it okay when you slandered them for doing awful things regardless of their families, but not for me? So yeah, Ron Bohr put me in the hospital. Well, I don't know who Ron Bohr is. And yeah, she specifically blames me for putting her in the hospital, even though they all hated when Brad blamed Allison for other people's actions. But everyone at Change the Channel completely denies blame for my mental health. Allow me to explain. Erod was constantly talking to his own viewers like dirt, completely unprovoked, much like he had done to me. People have said I've twisted this or lied. How is it a lie when I have screenshots? They're not out of context. Look! This is just depressing all around, really. Sorry our real life pain ruined your day. We promise to only talk about bunnies and rainbows from now on.
I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of...
Sorry, who's pretending they went through pain that they didn't again? I find it downright insulting, Erod. But Jesus, the guy was being sincere and you insulted him. He even replied to show he was genuine and you thanked him but didn't apologize. It's not a rumor anymore. The Black Widow movie is happening. Behold the first set photos. This has been a thing for a good couple years. I think they announced it shortly before Infinity War. A perfectly civilized and nice response. No official announcement was ever made. Stop making shit up like you work for Marvel. Dude, are you okay? Then the guy replied with a screenshot of said announcement to back up his claim, and instead of explaining nicely or admitting that he was wrong, this is not an official announcement! Do you even know what an official announcement is? Where's the lies, Marsha? Where is he treating anyone with respect? And if you say he was joking, he blocked the dude immediately after. Erod tweeted the trailer for Charlie's Angels and was shocked that it looks good despite Kristen Stewart being in it, and someone replied, and that right there is why people are giving Robert Pattinson the benefit of the doubt when playing Batman. Once again, nothing rude. rude. Josh, I'm not watching that movie. Even if it had the secret formula to cure cancer, feel free to carve that into my fucking tombstone. Someone tweeted him about how Channel Awesome has an entire team and not just Doug. Oh wow, you actually work there and you know how everything works behind the scenes. That's incredible. I only worked with the company and knew these people for 6 years. Sorry I said anything. Thank God you showed up with your insider's knowledge to enlighten us all. But he had an issue with how Channel Awesome treated and spoke with people. Someone simply made an innocent tweet trying to help out the situation. As a person with no dog in this race, I really wish I had the ability to get feuding current/former Channel Awesome folks in a room to talk. Just talk, not text, talk. Put everything on the table and reason this out. Life is too short for BS. Again, perfectly reasonable and trying to help. But we've learned that E-Rod doesn't like that. Gee, why didn't we think about that 10 years ago? Or all those times we were in a room together? You said you didn't know about the abuse when you're all in a room together. Oh wait, no, sorry, you weren't actually there because you weren't invited. Or during the 3 dozen incidents that have physically and psychologically damaged over 40 Channel Awesome producers. I guess we're just not as forward thinking as you. Insert sarcasm here. I hate when people feel the need to add that to a blatantly obvious sarcastic post. But again, where's the lie that he's speaking to people like crap, Marsha? Where am I blurring the lines from the truth? Regardless, they replied, and you were absolutely right. Channel Awesome was wrong on that and other things, and I've never said otherwise. But as you pointed out, this has been going on for years. Isn't it time to bring it to a close and not via text or Twitter? That's all I'm saying. I appreciate you are optimism, but this is not going to end. Now please, do more research before you make your next brilliant suggestion. This is the guy who said that people should know what monster they're supporting. Where's the lie? I'm not understanding this. Where at any point is this acceptable behavior to speak to anyone, let alone people trying to help? Others even asked this. Where was he disrespectful to his fans? One person a trend does not make. I'm guessing none of them watched the video where I provided several screenshots proving he spoke to his fans like crap way more than once. This is literally a case of grown adults putting fingers in their ears, covering their eyes and screaming, la 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 la, I'm not listening! Ironically, what we said Channel Awesome fans were doing, refusing to admit any fault from the heroes whatsoever despite evidence. This was around the time that Brad did a live stream with his wife and she went on a rant about Change the Channel and specifically Allison.
As long as their issues are actually something worth talking about, not something stupid like... If people know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you know already, but as long as it's a real issue, instead of like changing something.
This set off a whole whirlwind, and I believed it was time to address it and throw E-Rod into the mix. In this video, I finally made public what E-Rod had done, and simply because it was relevant. Allison and others have claimed that there was no need for this to be in the video. At the time, I agreed. Again, anxiety. I was being attacked by a bunch of people and caved. Allison claimed it wasn't relevant to what the video was about, but I specifically say why it was there in the video. The only reason I'm bringing this up is to prove, 1, Change the Channel isn't flawless. It isn't perfect either. But 2, just because someone does a bad thing doesn't negate what the other person has done. E-Rod, in my opinion, has talked to people in an unacceptable way, but that does not take away what Channel Awesome have done to those 40 plus people. Furthermore, a Google document citing serious allegations about Channel Awesome's actions had ridiculously petty claims in it. For a document that details rape, why is there a part about Doug not knowing how to record a Skype call? Why was that put in there, Allison? It wasn't relevant. And isn't this exactly what Laura said, which angered you all so much? You are literally saying what I went through with E-Rod wasn't important enough to talk about, but it was fine for all of you to do it because your issues were more important. Nice, Allison, nice. Anyone who tweets you saying they met Doug and he picked his nose and flicked it at them, you're right in there saying, oh, what a piece of shit he is. I'm sorry that happened to you. But when it's about someone in Change the Channel, it's fine, and you don't care because you're not the boss of them and it's got nothing to do with you. But hey, it didn't need to be public, right? I was just crying for attention. But Holly's okay to spam Twitter about her home life and phone calls all day, even asking for applications for a relationship. That tweet is deleted, but the reply confirms it, and whining about not getting a job. Marsha cries whenever a hater says her husband is a poo face. He even posted a tweet crying that Doug gave him a fake number. Seriously, I'm begging for attention, crying and whining that somebody doesn't want to be my friend with things that didn't need to be public. But E-Rod is moaning because Doug gave him a fake number. You a 13-year-old girl? This is a serious issue worth talking about. But I'm suicidal, begging for attention. E-Rod began to lose subscribers and started getting online hate before Holly dropped me a message. Hey, for everyone's sake, it would be best if you stopped talking about E-Rod. I understand your perspective and your feelings are valid, but having you talk about it really hurt Marsha. Okay, so E-Rod being an arsehole is fine, but me talking about E-Rod being an arsehole isn't. If my feelings are valid, I'd assume you sent something similar to him too, right? Yeah, she never did. Or if she did, she's never admitted to it. So it's unlikely. Erod being an arsehole isn't the problem, it's me talking about it. It would have been one thing to mention it in passing, but it seemed to dominate what you were talking about. Kind of like how you all talked about Channel Awesome mistreating you, which was wrong before you flip. But why was that okay and not this? It's literally the same thing. Someone was a dick behind the scenes, I informed people, like you did. We're a family. That means we have some members who can be harsh or have a sense of humour that doesn't come across well. Sad Panda was a prime example as well. But we still care about and for each other. I don't know Erod terribly well, so then why are you ignoring his terrible actions? And maybe he's just going through a rough time. So that excuses it. I've also heard this for later events. Oh, Alison's going through a difficult time, so that makes it okay for her to mistreat people. But didn't you all flip when Brad and Laura were blaming you for the bad stuff that they were going through? But I know not everything was great for him at Channel Awesome. He says otherwise.
I never experienced any kind of abuse or any kind of trauma.
But almost all of the time he was there, the only people who spoke with him were me and Lewis. You just said you didn't know him very well. Now you're one of the only two who spoke to him. Make up your mind. Also, if nobody talked to him, why is he going around on Twitter saying that he worked with these people for 6 years and knew all the ins and outs despite not knowing about the abuse? And seriously, this is the bad experience that he went through. What, people didn't talk to him. Other people were raped, but people didn't talk to Erod. The poor thing. But I'm the one easily triggered. People talk shit about his show all the time. He talks shit about movies all the time. In fact, Marsha has admitted to me that Erod doesn't care if people insult his work. She has said that. Is she lying or are you, Holly? So this whole tirade of getting me to feel sorry for him doesn't work. And it wasn't even about him really. They were mad that after pushing people away from angry reviewing and such, that the person Channel Awesome decided to bring on was an angry reviewer. Or maybe it was just because his videos sucked. This just sounds like a really arrogant statement. There can't possibly be any other reason to crap on his content. It had to have been because it was another angry reviewer and not the quality of the content itself. I was involved in a Facebook group filled with some of the former Channel Awesome reviewers as well as some others, and people started slagging off Erod in said group. Please stop with the Erod hate. People are actively leaving this group because of it. Tell Erod to stop being a dickhead then. You are literally blaming other people for someone being an asshole. That is the equivalent of me saying stop insulting Mike Machad, you're making him upset. Again, Channel Awesome were in the wrong. Regardless of this, I replied. First of all, I appreciate you being honest with me. Second of all, yeah, I'm done discussing the Erod situation. It was tricky, and the reason I kept it quiet for so long was because me and Marsha are quite close. He's not who my beef is with, however. I'd love to talk to him and work things out to figure out why this all happened. But Brad is the bad guy, so I'm not mentioning Erod again publicly. As I said in the video, we're a team and need to support each other. Maybe he's just having a bad time and lashed out. I don't know, but I'm over it. During my Curious Cat episodes, I was still very often asked about Erod, and I cut them out in editing. I was asked about him on live streams, and I would ignore it. I'd be asked on Twitter or Discord, I wouldn't respond. I said my piece because it was something that people should know about him and how he treated people and to show that there's fault on both sides. But people in Change the Channel seem to have this refusal to accept any blame whatsoever. Kind of like Channel Awesome. Again, Channel Awesome are in the wrong. They are disgraceful. But Change the Channel literally refuse any fault and any blame. Just look at how people reacted to this video's announcement. It must be lies and conspiracy. They can't possibly have done something wrong. They claimed this is proof I never cared about Change the Channel to begin with because this was completely unprovoked. Nothing set it off whatsoever. I just woke up one day and thought, hey, you know that movement that got my channel popping? I'm gonna screw them all over just for a laugh. Even when I said I had evidence. No, this is ridiculous and exaggerated, even though I haven't seen the evidence. They don't seem to realise just how similar they actually are to Channel Awesome fans. And of course, Marsha then played the victim. Once there was person A who made a promise to person B. Person B promised person A that she'll still be his friend. But then person A broke the promise, but person B can't break her promise because to her, a promise means something. Moral, don't make promises you don't intend to keep. When I confronted her, she denied this tweet being about me, but this went up the very same day this all went down. The timing is rather convenient, and Marsha would go on to prove herself to be a compulsive liar, so there's that. So they can talk about it publicly, but I can't, right? Or is this okay because it's only a subtle jab? Regardless, I still took the blame and messaged her to make amends. I wasn't going to say anything because I was worried it would only make matters worse, but Eric has been getting a lot of abuse online from my doing. I'm sorry that you're upset, but I'm not going to apologise for reacting the way I have. I was treated horribly and so were others, so I stood up for myself and them. However, I'm sorry for the backlash, so I think it's just best I delete you both and move on. In regards to your tweet, I failed to see what promise I broke, but the tweet also ignored how he treated me and others. You left that bit out. Anyway, take care, and I'm sorry it led to this. That tweet was about my ex-friend Ross who stabbed me in the back last week. I don't know what I've done to upset you. Nothing. Your husband did. Not everything is about you, Marsha. I'm sorry that I have to be the one to break the news to you. I didn't air out Erod's horrible actions to get to you. I aired out Erod's horrible actions because Erod did some horrible things and people should know. Kinda like how you did with Channel Awesome. I've been ignoring stuff online, clearly not because Holly messaged me that same day to say that you were upset about it. Are you lying or is she? Either way, Change the Channel has a liar fire in the mix, but I understand if you want to cut ties with me. Things began to die down. Occasionally I'd see comments or tweets insulting Erod, but that was about it. Like before, Change the Channel died down until the end of August. A lot of these tweets are no longer available. I do have some screenshots, but not all, so bear with me. It all started when, discussing Channel Awesome, I made a comparison between them and PewDiePie. The comparison was simple. When PewDiePie messed up, everyone instantly hated him without a second thought. However, when Channel Awesome messed up, people for some reason needed convincing. That was the very simple comparison. I was then bombarded with hateful tweets from angry PewDiePie haters. This went on for quite some time. People were hating me for defending a racist and an anti-Semite, despite my initial post not actually defending Felix whatsoever. This is what I mean when I say my opinion seems to mean the world to these people. Who even cares that I like PewDiePie? During my replies, I did defend Felix, and this is when my words were taken out of context. In September of 2017, Felix did a live stream Let's Play where this happened.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck?
And I never once defended this. People seem to think I did and spread around that I did, but I didn't. This was clearly wrong. However, people are now lumping me in, calling me a racist. However, I did defend PewDiePie for the anti-Semitic stuff. Around the same time, Felix did a video about how the media takes things out of context, and to further prove that point, he dressed in a Nazi uniform and reacted to some Hitler footage. And what happened? The media took it out of context. He was now called anti-Semitic for something that was clearly a satirical joke. And it was even to the point any hand gesture and even his hairstyle was used against him as evidence. But this all started with him making jokes about white people. I am dead serious.
I see how it is. It's because I have so many subscribers. They're trying to kill my channel. This is all a conspiracy. YouTube wants to kill my channel. It really seems like he's really serious right there. I really didn't detect any sarcasm in his language, so, man.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of Americans not understanding sarcasm.
And then there was the Fiverr thing. Fiverr is a website where you can seek services for as little as £5 or $5. Felix did a video about it to show the ridiculous things people would do for such little money. He had asked a few artists to draw a penis, and they refused. He then asked a couple of guys to write "Death to Jews" on a sign and parade it around. Much to his surprise, they actually did it.
I am sorry. I didn't think they would actually do it. I feel partially responsible, but just I didn't think they would actually do it.
Again, this was a joke. He didn't expect them to actually do it, and it only proved him right, the entire point of the video. Allison constantly claims that people think context excuses being an asshole. But it's a valid argument. Context does matter. I don't go around slapping people and then saying, "Soz bro, look at the context." But hey, if you want to be this petty.
J.K. Rowling calling me a fascist. She read it off a headline, sort of went with it. Well, I read on an online article that you once said in an interview that you found dressing up as a Nazi arousing. I read that on an online website, so it must be true.
I don't want to see any of you Change the Channel folks supporting Harry Potter anymore. Before I go further into the aspect of a joke, it's weird that these people beg and demand Channel Awesome for an apology, because Felix apologized for these actions.
I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not going to make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it. I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from all these past controversies. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better.
The jokes were dark, but they were jokes. Why do you people care what YouTubers are like anyway? I don't understand. I'd argue the former has a bit more nuance than just dark jokes. He's kind of towed the line between just a joke, bruh, and I am repeating rhetoric that gets people hurt and killed, and it's unclear if I unironically agree with this or not. Except he's always made it clear whether he agrees with it or not. Where did he get anyone killed? Where have these jokes in any way caused any physical harm? I'm only assuming you're referring to the awful New Zealand shooting earlier this year where the killer quoted a subscribe to PewDiePie meme before going on a killing spree. But how is that Felix's fault? Again, you're supporting a movement that lambasted Brad for blaming Allison for her fans' actions, but now you're blaming PewDiePie for his fans' actions. Furthermore, this is another instance where PewDiePie was horrified at this event and didn't want to bring attention to himself, but later ended the entire meme in disgust at the incident. Don't get me wrong, Channel Awesome are total assholes through and through. I just think boiling down Felix's controversies to making dark jokes kinda underplays people's concerns with him. So what are people's concerns with him? You sure as shit defended Felix's anti-Semitism. Yes, I did. I didn't defend the N-bomb. I never denied defending the anti-Semitism. I can take a joke, you see. The thing is, people also flip their shit when Pewds did a video with the aforementioned bigot Ben Shapiro. The problem? Ben Shapiro is Jewish! So which one is it? Is Felix an asshole for working with a Jewish douchebag, or does Felix hate Jews? He can't be both. You also tried to use Blazing Saddles as a defense, called us snowflakes, and quoted a rapper who used an ableist slur. We'll cover the Blazing Saddle stuff in a little bit, but isn't calling someone like me an edgelord exactly the same as calling someone like you a snowflake? Yes, I believe you are, but you flip out at any joke that isn't PC. And then you all use the term boomer. Apparently that's fine, but you can't say snowflake. And then Holly laughs because someone blocked her for her calling them a diaper baby, which is a really petty insult. So snowflake, and you all lost your minds. Anyway, as for the rapper, I quoted Tom McDonald. You know, the rapper who specifically said this in his song.
I'm not the white devil, neo-Nazi, cop trying to pull the trigger. You can call me what you want, but I'd still never say the white race as a whole ain't the enemy. There's racist white people, but we're far from that collectively.
Damn racist. That entire song is literally about how he would never discriminate against anyone.
I would never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments, and I would never plot against him just because he is different. I would never judge a human for the cards he was given, or call him lesser than myself because of the race that he's mixed with.
This was just another made-up lie and misconception made about Tom that you clearly heard and continued spreading around without actually listening to the song yourself. And now it's time to discuss the Blazing Saddles situation. I explained for the 1,763,182nd time that I did not defend PewDiePie saying the N-word, because it wasn't a joke. However, I explained I do believe that anything can be joked about, and then I tweeted this. You're ignoring context. I have a black friend who I jokingly call the N-word, and he jokingly makes white/British jokes. That's fine, it's harming nobody. Saying the N-word just to insult someone is wrong. His Jewish jokes were jokes with a point, and everyone lost their minds. I want to ask a serious question. Who is this harming? Me saying a word in private to a friend behind closed doors where nobody else can hear, who is that harming? How does this affect your life? I was then constantly called a racist. Rich Harris, the friend in question, even stepped in to back me up to say that it didn't bother him. We have a group chat with a bunch of people of different sexualities, ethnicities and backgrounds, and we all roast each other. But I think the biggest problem here is that despite Rich himself being American, it's clearly the sign of our two different cultures. Think I'm making excuses? Well, let's just see what Will Smith has to say.
And I like how it shocks me that you can, because on American TV, you can't say stuff like that. So.
This was a hugely popular TV sitcom in the UK. You would never see something like that on American television. Unless it's a stand-up comedian. They seem to be the only ones who get away with it. And in a British talk show, the host drops the N-bomb in front of a black guy and nobody cares because of the context.
You're a black person, but you don't like niggers. You refer to people as niggers.
Yeah.
Now,
are you calling me a nigger?
No.
If you need further evidence, look at the difference between Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent.
Why were people so excited about that talking dog on Britain's Got Talent? Amanda Holden's been on it for years.
Howie Mandel.
Yes.
A Canadian judging America's Got Talent? What happened? Did they already find all 3 talented Canadians?
Or, if you want to stick to small time, YouTube.
Oh shit! Better come quick! Rice comes fucking JJ with a chopstick! Good afternoon! Your mom looks like Kim Jong-un!
I'm JJ, I'm 26, and you know what they say about black people? Once you go black, you're gonna need a
Yeah? You've got incredible eyes and a beautiful figure. KSI on a GDBT is a... Who wrote this?
I really wish you died in that car accident.
I don't know what's more of a letdown, your daily vlogs, or the fact leukemia didn't kill you off.
Oh my fucking god!
You've been roasted so many times, your body thinks it's having chemo again.
Oh!
Kicking that ball in your mum's face really didn't change how much of an ugly dog she is.
Oh my God!
I'm not surprised your dad left you.
Oh my God!
Toby's the only guy that I know that could pay for a prostitute and still end up in the friend zone.
I love all the Sidemen videos, particularly the hide-and-seek ones. I couldn't help but notice, though, how good Ethan was. Suppose he got it from his dad.
I mean, if Harry pulls out a bag unexpectedly, it's party time, yet if Fig does it... Someone call the bomb squad. Fuck me.
Ah, rape face. Or as Simon calls it, sex.
The build-up to KSI versus Logan has been intense. JJ hasn't threatened to end her life with a hook since his ex-girlfriend got pregnant. Vic really has the it factor. And by that, I mean he's a clown who likes the taste of kids. So think... Harry went viral when he kicked a ball at his mum's head. Being from Guernsey, he's used to finishing on a relative's face.
Britain has a savage sense of humour where nothing is off limits. Me saying that word to Rich in a joking way in private is completely different to me walking down the street saying it to random black people. People seem to think that's what I do because it was taken out of context, like most things. There's no way for me to prove that I'm not a racist. The fact that I have a black friend apparently wasn't good enough. That's a lame defence. Well, it's not. How can I hate black people and be friends with black people? That's like a vegetarian loving beef burgers. Not only is Rich one of my best friends, but Mike Maverick was in my movie as well as the aforementioned Hayden.
What's it like to be black? What's it like to be black?
Normal. Just normal.
Yeah! You racist fucks.
And I even defended Channel Awesome's Malcolm Ray against a racist in a previous tweet, and I forked out hundreds of pounds to go and watch and support a black guy knocking the shit out of a white guy. When Eminem was called homophobic, he performed with Elton John and everyone suddenly backed off, citing that as evidence that he wasn't. So why doesn't this work now? In response, someone had this to say. If you are a white person, saying the N-word, it is racist. Always. In every context. If you defend systematic racism, you're a racist too. You're both racists. Learn something about actual racism and how it functions, then come back. And this is when I use Blazing Saddles as an example. If a white person is racist for saying the N-word in any context because that's what you said, then Mel Brooks and every white person in that movie who says it is racist by your logic. And furthermore, if you like and support that movie, you're defending racism and are racist yourself. That's what you've said. So Lindsay Ellis, who did a video about how amazing the movie was, is racist. These are your claims, not mine. You can't say, oh, it's racist in any context, and then back up and say, oh no, that was a satirical satire, so it's different. You said in any context, which means you hate iDubbbz.
To hold the word nigger.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Now why would he want to read a book about a four-eyed nigger?
Tyler Cassidy.
Give a nigger a break.
Vince McMahon.
Keep it up, I'm a nigger.
Jonathan Ross.
You're a black person, but you don't like niggers.
Eminem.
Gotta dish you, my niggas be cocking pistols.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Bang bang, skeet skeet, nigga.
The voice actors of South Park.
Niggers!
John LaJoie.
This is my nigga KC. What the fuck you just called me? Sorry. I'll say friend.
Jackie Chan.
What's up, my nigga?
Wrestling journalist Bill Apter.
When I used to go out a lot with him, he used to call me nigga too.
That fan of Hobson who went on stage with him. That fan of Kendrick Lamar who went on stage with him. That rapping Christian guy.
My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's cause Jesus Christ is my nigga.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wanna buy a beat-ass nigga from me.
The actors from Zero Hour.
There's a nigger over here.
Also, I said it in my Blazing Saddles review. No one cared then. However, the studio executives constantly conflicted with Mel Brooks because of the amount of times the word nigger is spoken. I understand that it's a funny satirical comedy and not genuinely racist, but clearly you don't. You said anyone who uses it for any reason is racist, and anyone who supports them are racists. These are literally your words. Or maybe they're just jokes and no offense should be taken. I used it in a comedy sketch for a character who's deluded and believes that he is black. You killed Santa! Alright, my nigga. Is that acceptable? I mean, it's satirical like Blazing Saddles was, so I'm just unsure what rules you're setting here. Especially because everyone ignored this point every single time it was brought up. People even rebutted Rich by saying he doesn't speak for black people. He's black and you're white. But it's cool, Rich doesn't speak for all black people. So it's a good thing that other black people didn't speak out and defend PewDiePie for saying it.
What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck?
If you go back, he says the word, he's still going, and then you can see his face change.
he realized what he said.
Jeez, oh my God, what the fuck?
Sorry,
but what the fuck?
He screwed up. When you look at his face, and as he's going through the whole transition of no, oh my God, what did I say? Just watch his face. He knows he screwed up.
That should show though that he didn't mean to say it.
Yeah, he just shot something out.
If a grown-ass man came to me and he was like in his 40s, 50s, and he came up to me and he was like, "You're a dirty black nigger," then I'd be pissed. But if someone says, for example, PewDiePie situation, just calls someone, oh, that, he doesn't hear, he doesn't know. If he screamed it down the mic, okay, that's a little bit different. But I totally get, still, I don't think it was right for him to say it, but at the same time, we need to stop putting that word so hard.
Is that enough black people for you to fit this criteria and end this? No? Okay. Holly then chimed in and said something along the lines of, 1, PewDiePie is clearly a racist. Very valid points there. Is it because of things like this?
Multipatlo, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? Your language sounds like it come from a mumble rap community.
Maybe they're just jokes. Try laughing. Or not, you can just pause the video and move on. 2, you can't compare racism nowadays to how it was 45 years ago. The way we look at racism has completely changed since then. Well, firstly, that's complete bullshit. If racism was accepted in comedy in the 70s, why did Blazing Saddles nearly not get made because of the controversy? Furthermore, in 1974, when the film came out, it was only 6 years after the civil rights movement had been passed. Blacks had only just recently managed to win their fight for equality. If anything, Blazing Saddles being released then is far more racist than it would be today. Regardless, what about Borat? That was this century, and the entire movie was racist, as was Bruno and the Great Dictator. Do you hate Sacha Baron Cohen? Probably. Yeah. That makes you anti-Semitic. Do you hate South Park? Upon this, I noticed that Holly had unfollowed me, and she then put up this tweet. If you randomly pop up in my mentions to defend Pro Jared, Channel Awesome, PewDiePie, Trump, etc., I'm probably just going to block you. You are not worth my time or energy. You are seriously letting people's personal opinions and beliefs affect whether or not you support or befriend them. This is pathetic. In the past, I did tweet this. If anyone on here still follows Brad or Channel Awesome in any capacity, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, please unfollow me. I don't want your support whatsoever. This was wrong, and I apologize. This was right after the stream of Brad and his wife, and I was just angry. But even then, I didn't block anyone who did so. You are blocking anyone who likes a YouTuber you don't. Do you not see how ridiculous that is? At the time, I just caved again and said fair point and quit. I didn't want drama, and I wasn't in the best place emotionally. I even dropped Holly a message. Hey Holly, you don't need to reply to this. Just wanted to message a few things. Firstly, I've deleted the tweets. There's really no way to convince you other than just assuring you, no, I'm not a racist. People were taking my words out of context and it was only getting uglier, so I removed them all. Secondly, I wasn't defending PewDiePie for dropping the N-bomb. People seem to think I was. I defended his anti-Semitic jokes. I didn't find them funny, but I thought the context was important, but it's fine if others didn't. The N-bomb was inexcusable on his part though, so I can understand why people consider him a racist for saying it so freely and easily. Thirdly, it was blown out of proportion and context. I was the one who made it public as I thought it was relevant to the thread. But me and my friends have dark senses of humour, so I've said it to him in private. I would never go up to random black people and use it or anything, especially not in a derogatory manner. It's friendly banter. Again, I get it if people think that's wrong still, but I don't see why it affects anyone else. It's a private conversation. Fourthly, I apologise. I've been informed people took it to the former Channel Awesome Facebook group. I left back during the Erod stuff because he was getting hate and I just wanted out and to leave it at that. And I see you got some shit on Twitter as well. I'm sorry. It was never my intention. Your tweet to me did give me an insight I didn't consider, and you are more civilised than most. I know my humour is edgier than others, but I think my argumentative nature doesn't help, so it spirals out of control and I make the matter worse, which I'm working on. Regardless, the tweets are gone and I'm sorry for any backlash you received because of it. Holly never replied. She would later claim that I specifically said that she didn't have to, but for someone who claims to be a big advocate for mental health, I'll reiterate it to her because she clearly doesn't know as much about it as she thinks she does. Anxiety cuts you off. You are distant. You want to be alone, but also you need someone at the same time. Mixed with depression, you hate yourself, but are constantly paranoid what everyone else thinks simultaneously. Of course I'd say you don't have to reply. I was in my shell. I still took the blame. I sent an apology and you, who always respects those and wants them so badly, ignored it. Things died down for a couple of days, but I couldn't help but notice a huge sign of hypocrisy from Holly. She started putting up tweets distancing herself from me and claiming she doesn't condone my actions, doesn't think white people can say that word, and doesn't think that rape can be joked about. Oh, so you're not a fan of Lindsay Ellis then?
Hey, can I rap about rape?
Sweet! I'm set up porno taping. I need it like a wild ape and my penis is bent and misshapen, so I'm spending my nights out raping.
That was good. Brian, do you think we could make it a little less pro-rape?
But I can't help but notice that you're still following her. So anyone who follows someone who does this horrible things are sympathisers, but you're doing the same thing. But wait a minute, didn't you all laugh at rape on the set of Kikasia?
What's the difference?
It's a big difference, trust me.
Really?
Yeah, one means rape.
In fact, the WWE are a company who have constantly mistreated their staff, even rehiring a known rapist and sexual predator, Pat Patterson. Yet your friend Kaylin watches and supports the WWE. When are you going to unfollow her, Holly? Wait a minute, Eminem not only used the N-word on stage, but used the homophobic F-word constantly in songs, and has admitted to violence towards women, yet your buddy the rap critic continues to support him. When are you going to distance yourself from him? You are literally doing this. You're boycotting anyone who supports someone you don't like. You have to boycott everyone who likes American Beauty because Kevin Spacey's in it. You have to boycott anyone who likes Jeepers Creepers or Rosemary's Baby. You are blocking a lot of people, love. I'm not even joking. This is your logic. She started blocking people left and right and then laughing that they were upset about it, bragging that she had offended them. Doesn't that make you an edgelord, Holly? You were offended days earlier by my comments. I jumped in to point out Holly's hypocrisy and then we went back and forth for a while. Aren't you blocking people for their opinion bothering you, then claiming it doesn't bother you, then bragging about being edgy after complaining that you were offended about certain jokes? I'm blocking people I don't know for fighting me for no reason. Blocking them doesn't bother me. Having boundaries in life isn't being edgy. Having a sense of humor isn't being edgy. It's self-care. You really want to fight over a post that is days old and has nothing to do with you. Why? Didn't you jump into a discussion that was nothing about you to argue how I was wrong about Felix? Why? Someone even replied to this to say, Rob, you can hardly remark on people jumping into topics that are nothing to do with them when you did exactly that with Change the Channel and proceeded to milk that as much as you did. We'll ignore the fact that a Change the Channel member was the one who suggested making more videos about it and the fact that, other people wanted more. Hell, even Kaylin was asking for more videos. Should I have ignored her as well? But regardless, I butted in to Change the Channel, which had nothing to do with me. That's true, but the massive difference is I didn't do that and then complain about someone else doing it. But hey, I milked it, right? Even though Erod was rejected from Channel Awesome, but do you think he just kept applying for 1 year and 11 months before being accepted? Nope!
So, I'm not good enough to be on your site. I understand. It's not like I'm a big fan or anything. It's not like I watch your videos every week, or it's definitely not like I bought your arduous little card game, or it's not like I drew you a 70-page comic book. And he will not stop until he gains his rightful place with his fellow internet critics. In this moment, this is me at my most masochistic. Critic, I'm your biggest fan.
He kept milking that and begging them to be on there, clearly bitter. It's so sad. Rob Walker probably said, fine, let's just bring him on and shut him up. Furthermore, this was a grown-ass man who was whining because Doug didn't mention his magic hammer in the 10-year anniversary script. There's no point there. I just want to laugh at the grown-ass man whining because another man didn't talk about his magic hammer, but I'm the one who begs for attention. I kept pointing out about how she was the one who jumped into a discussion to fight me and not the other way around, but she refused to take responsibility for that hypocrisy. Now, let's also address something else. My good friend Craig, who used to be in a lot of my videos, never used Twitter before. He created one during my tirade of ripping on Channel Awesome fans, and he decided to finally set one up just to troll them and poke fun at Brad Jones. He would often chime in with Change the Channel posts and discussions. During this argument, Rich hadn't said anything to Holly directly, but stuck up for me in this discussion and defended PewDiePie. Holly blocked him. Why? He didn't reply to her about PewDiePie, but other people. He didn't say anything to her. It seemed like the only reason was because Rich was the only one who was able to discard the allegations of me being racist. Which is kind of racist, Holly. But weirdly, Craig, who'd been a lot more vocal with Holly and constantly argued with her, wasn't blocked. And there was a lot of accusations about the possibilities of Craig being me. The account was relatively new and most of his feed would Change the Channel posts, so naturally it was going to be me. To be fair, it was the other way around. I would have made that same allegation. However, this screenshot shows me messaging Craig joking about clickbaiting my Venom Month series to capitalize on the drama, and guess what? Never did it, before you all judge me for that. It's a joke. And Craig informs me that he got involved, referring to a reply to either Holly or Allison. I can't really remember which. And I clearly point out that they are now going to believe he's me. Oh, and here where he sends me another one of his tweets and I again confirm he's Crane. There was even a thread where Craig provided some screenshots I had sent him to use to deflate their arguments. Allison ignored the actual point and just further assumed he was me because he had my screenshots. So I guess any Change the Channel screenshot was from an alt account too. Friends can share screenshots with each other too, you know. Others replied and remained adamant that he's me, ignoring what Craig was actually saying. Any point he made about their actions went completely ignored. It's amazing how they're more focused on who I am and not what I'm saying. Precisely. After this argument died down, I just left the movement and stayed quiet. I wanted no more of this and to just move on. However, they constantly contradicted themselves and continued to lie, which we'll go over more in a second. But here's a screenshot of Craig pointing out Allison's hypocrisy, and I clearly give him a point for him to post in response. But I'm Craig, remember? Allison even told people to ignore him because he's clearly me. Is he? Or here where I point out that Rich would have to reveal Craig's identity identity to clear my name, and Craig replied that he was going to do that. Guess what? Even with the screenshots, they completely avoided it and still said he was me, continuing the lie. There's also an account called Out of Context CinematicVenom. I had no idea who this person was at first, but they would post random clips from my videos, out of context, and I found it really funny. One day, I just had to know who they were. They then DM'd me their identity, and it was my friend Danny, the Cinematic Mind. I laughed my ass off. Danny joined the fight to slam Change the Channel, and Holly now claimed that this person was also me. Rich pointed out the fact that it wasn't, as well as the Craig screenshots, and they didn't apologise for lying, nor did they admit that they were wrong. Can't do that now. In fact, after this argument, I had enough and blocked Holly. Then there was someone on Reddit, and Holly immediately assumed that they were me as well. Rob, if you block me on Twitter, why are you bothering to respond to me on here? You just answered your own question. It makes no sense. Why would I do that? I didn't. That's why. I'm not sure what it is about people I don't know that is hard to understand. Oh, so you know Crane. That's why you've not blocked him. I exchanged tweets with him before he came to your defense. All I know about the other person is that he jumped in to defend PewDiePie. He didn't defend PewDiePie to you. He never tweeted you about it. She even claimed people just like to fight over Felix despite the issue being years old, but she was the one who fought over it. I just made a tweet making a comparison. You jumped in to argue. At this point, I just said that you can mute people if their opinions mean that much to you, which, you know, she claims they don't. Or just be an adult, accept different opinions and move on. Her very mature response was, or I could just block them since Twitter gives me that ability. So you're going to block anyone you don't know on a public forum after lambasting Channel Awesome for doing that. Refuse to apologise like Channel Awesome. Then witness Erod treat people like shit, and instead of telling him to stop, tell me to stop publicising it. So you allowed mistreatment like Channel Awesome. That was the tweet that angered everyone, because I was now saying she was just as bad as Channel Awesome. But I never actually said that. I said she was now performing some actions that Channel Awesome were guilty of, that they had complained about. Not accepting opinions? Check. Blocking people for no reason? Check. Ignoring mental health? Check. Allowing abusive behaviour? Check. Defending and hiding a sexual predator? Check. Yes, Holly knew about Justin the entire time as well. Hey, Kaylin, what was it you said? Or maybe I would have done the same thing more than 5 years ago if somebody had told me about Justin then. And what did you say, Alison? And then, you know, I found out he knew about a sexual predator in the company and made a monetized video memorializing him after his death. But Holly knew. Why are you friends with someone who covered up for a sexual predator? The group chat that exposed this whole thing, Holly is right there during the entire conversation. She claims that she didn't say anything at the request of the victim. Now that's fair enough, but why doesn't Channel Awesome get that excuse? How come you can stay quiet for the victim, but when it comes to them, no, they covered it up? Or was the issue just because they did the tribute video? That I would understand, but it's never been made clear. You still allowed Justin to hang around with your friends knowing he was a rapist. You still allowed Kaylin to spend hundreds of dollars on a movie honoring his memory. How can you crap on Doug for intentionally paying tribute to a sexual predator when you intentionally didn't stop Kaylin unintentionally doing the exact same thing? You watched and said nothing, endangering all of them. In fact, that makes you more guilty because you were actually Kaylin's friend. Either you're both in the wrong or you're both clear. Make up your mind, love. And that's when she said this. Erod has a sense of humour I find harsh and also don't always agree with. Where's the sense of humour in calling people idiots for opinions? Where's the sense of humour in insulting me for no reason and making me feel like shit when all I try to do was help? For you to then go ahead and defend his actions despite promoting mental health awareness. But furthermore, why is it acceptable for Erod to be given leeway for having a harsh sense of humour but not me? You've spent this entire ordeal calling me an awful person because I'm an edgelord who laughs at rape jokes. Assuming I have no other humour, watch my videos, you'll see a whole range of comedy. It's not me sitting in a room just saying, oh, rape, No, I only laugh at death and murder. If I was an edgelord, would I have checked with Dina and Kaylin, who I was working on crossovers with at the time that never materialised, but were cancelled before the fallout, just to stop all the conspiracies? Would I have checked with them if there were any jokes that they were uncomfortable with beforehand? Would I have done a review with 2 people and specifically not curse in the entire video at their request? Would I have improvised in the Death Note review and said this?
Sure!
Let's go. I'll get the condoms.
And then double check with the woman to make sure that she and her fiancé were okay with it remaining in. Would I have removed a gay joke that Cinematic Excrement was uncomfortable with? Would I have accommodated Luke in the Paranormal Activity 3 review to make him more comfortable, which I cut out the bloopers? I was meant to go back and stop myself from creating Cinematic Venom. Thank God. I'll make you an asshole. Okay, so you're the L. So I say...
Can I say, is it alright if I can change for goodness? I just feel a bit... Sorry about it. I just feel a bit uncomfortable.
That's cool. Would I have cut this out the Halloween 2 bloopers? I'm going to have to mute your black ass. I can't hear you now. Oh, can't say that in the bloopers. Oh! Just bring up the controversy again. my boy. This sounds like the complete opposite of an edgelord to me. But you're dismissing a guy being an arsehole by saying he has a harsh sense of humour. Well, why can't we do that for Channel Awesome? What's that? Doug said Alison will never make it in this business? Oh, he's just got a harsh sense of humour. Kaylin got cut out a scene. She wasn't in the last shot. Oh well, plot hole. Oh, it's fine. Rob just has a harsh sense of humour. Again, Channel Awesome is in the wrong. But why can this be applied to you guys, but not them? You are literally clutching at any straw available to defend someone for inexcusable actions. Furthermore, Erod's previous Twitter was suspended. And what for? A dark joke. Ha ha ha. But seriously, if anyone goes anywhere near Owlstar with a pickaxe, I will murder them until I kill them to death.
I feel stupid even having to say this aloud, but this is obviously a joke.
The most ironic thing out of all of this. Nothing to be offended over, but why is Erod allowed to make dark jokes but I'm not, Holly? Murder is okay to joke about but not rape. But for real, on Reddit there was a post of a meme of someone shooting someone for being a fan of Doug. It's clearly a joke, a really funny joke. And Holly literally commented, Jesus Christ, watching Doug's content is not cause to shoot someone.
I feel stupid even having to say this aloud, but this is obviously a joke.
I genuinely believe Holly doesn't know what a joke is. You must be a hoot at parties. What kind of jokes do you accept? I mean, you can't watch Friends, they have gay jokes and sexist jokes. You can't watch Sex in the City, they sexualize women. You can't watch Baywatch, that sexualizes men. Can't watch Home Improvement, far too sexist. Can't watch Peppa Pig, fat shames. Santa Claus 2 portrays slavery, so boycott all of Disney. I mean, on her post about blocking people, Craig jokes that she would block anyone who likes Hawaiian pizza. She stated that she loves pineapple on pizza, and Craig again joked that Felix did too, and Holly took this seriously. That's entirely up to you. It was a joke about saying something positive about PewDiePie on a post that mentioned blocking people that defend him. A joke on top of a joke about the pineapple pizza debate. Lighten up a bit. And then she replied, avoiding the point and clearly not realizing how stupid she was being. People keep DMing me about you and your opinions. People assume that because you made the doc and talk about Change the Channel all the time that we all agree with all of your opinions. But Holly, those DMs were private. Why did you need to discuss it publicly? Why was that okay, but not when I do it? Also, you didn't say you were blocking people who DM'd you about Pewds or Trump or Jared. You said you were blocking anyone on your news feed who defends Pewds or Trump or Jared. What you did with Erod literally put someone's life at risk. So yes, I asked you to stop talking about it. Especially since you had promised them that you were going to stop talking about it. First of all, I never knew that that video would have had that impact. Marsha, I'm sorry that that caused you to be that distressed and hurt. I would never want you or anyone else to have those kind of thoughts whatsoever. It wasn't my intent, and I never had a problem with you. However, I never made this promise. I said I'd stop talking about it, and I did for months, until Erod continued insulting other people. Maybe your issue shouldn't be why I spoke about it, and it should be why your husband kept doing it. You even got a private DM about Alison and then publicized it. Sure, you hid their identity, but you slammed the person anyway. Why did that need to be public, Holly? I can't help but notice you're only against making things public when it's not you who does it. Although I can't help but notice that Alison follows the stand-up comedian Steve Hofstadter, who said this.
The problem with the whole Catholic priest thing, first of all, is that you know what I mean when I said a whole Catholic priest thing. When you get molested, you're supposed to go to confession. That is fucked up. Like, cause what happens? You get there and you're like, forgive me, Father, for I have... Oh, fuck, it's you. I guess you saw the whole thing. I mean, I didn't even see it. My back was turned.
Holly, she supports someone who likes rape. Better get that block button ready. But the part that really hit hard was this. To everyone who tried to warn me about CinematicVenom, I'm sorry if it seemed like I brushed off your concerns. He had apologized for many things he had done in the past, and I believe those apologies were genuine. I felt it was in the spirit of Change the Channel to accept those apologies. I don't regret giving him a chance. I'm just disappointed that this is who he chooses to be. You were right, and I'm only sorry that I didn't see it sooner, and that my accepting those apologies may have hurt others. Who am I choosing to be, Holly? I'm sorry I was hurt when someone insulted me. I'm sorry I was annoyed when someone treated others like crap. And that is when Marsha, of course, threw her 2 cents in. I'm no longer staying silent. This CV dude used to make hate videos of Erod. I made one and it wasn't a hate video. In 2017, he made a video making fun of Eric's video from our first season in 2010. It was 2016. And bitching that Eric had more subscribers than him. I made the same joke in the Channel Awesome documentary that you enjoyed. This guy has millions of subs and I don't. It's a self-deprecating joke. It's a big thing in Britain. And was literally judging a dude from old work with current sub count. Alright, that's a fair point. He wasn't simply just complaining about what Eric doesn't like about the movie, but he was criticizing my apartment. I never once do that. The video's still up. By all means, feel free to watch it. The website I built for Eric. This is the gag.
Let's check blockbusterbuster.angelfire.com.
And I hate it already. Badass can't even afford his own website domain name.
It was a joke. He's meant to be this badass, but then he has an Angel Fire website. But even then, why was this a shot towards you? How would I have any idea you made this website, Marsha? You literally think anything towards Erod is to hurt you. Considering this was even before I started talking to you. A bus driver could shortchange Erod and you would take that as a personal attack towards you. And at one point, I do believe he called me some derogatory name, just because I was in the vid for a sec. No She-Rod back then. This is a complete lie. The video is still up. Watch the whole thing. I never once said anything about Marsha. I even pointed this out and she replied, but only acknowledged that she got the year wrong originally. She later came back with, I said I was pretty sure you'd made a derogatory comment when I was on video, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have the stomach to rewatch it. So you're going to admit that you were wrong and apologize for lying or no? Why make this positive thread about how horrible I am when you've just admitted you're not even sure of it yourself? The most I did was...
Or a tripod, apparently. I think Batman Forever is actually quite a good film. It's highly underrated.
How is that a personal attack? How would I have known you were holding the camera? I didn't even know Erod was married. And even then, get a tripod, they're cheap. And if you're that broke, stack them up on a pile of DVDs. We've all done that. This was a genuine constructive criticism. And for someone who claims you should be able to take it if you dish it out, you fail. Anyway, he made more than one video like this, even though according to a screenshot I saw, he claims he never made any. But trust me, he did. Oh, well, Marsha says it, so it must be true. So remember, if Brad says anything, he's lying. He has to have evidence. Otherwise, he's lying. However, Marsha has made up these lies out of nowhere with no evidence. Holly instantly believes it and spreads it all over Reddit without proof and is now tweeting shit about how you should never believe everything you read online. You guys really do follow your own advice, don't you? I only ever made that one video on Erod. I did use some clips as a running gag, but that was it.
I hope you realize how you hurt my feelings.
Erod?
I never made more than one video on him. I know because that's how I met him. Really, that's how we met. We met through the constant hate videos I made on Erod. Let's look at my comments. Here's my video, Let's Talk, uploaded on April the 22nd, 2018. As you can see, this is clearly Marsha's YouTube channel. If you check the contact link, it goes straight to her Facebook. And this is the first comment from her on any of my videos. I thought they were hilarious, which is why I subscribed. I hate how people think people posted Channel Awesome videos just for views. My husband got that when he posted the video to announce he had left Channel Awesome, so no one is immune. Your husband was on Channel Awesome? Who? Sorry, I thought I said. He's Erod, the Blockbuster Buster. Oh yeah, we've communicated before briefly. It was a misunderstanding and I emailed him to clear things up. Understanding a nice dude. Hope he's doing well. Wow man, sorry. Seems like miscommunication follows us. I'm sure he appreciated you reaching out. Keep doing what you do. Your characters and vids have made me laugh my ass off. Yeah, the Channel Awesome one's got my attention to you, but your content will keep your subscribers, myself included. I basically did a video on Erod a while back, his Batman Forever video. I didn't know much about his content or how much he's improved since. I was a bit of a dick and a lot of his fans got on my case, so I sent him an apology. He accepted and said it's all good. Thanks for the support. Thank you for being a good person and apologise. It's okay. He gets so much hate that he has gotten used to it. He has always said you can't be a critic if you can't take criticism. You're very welcome for the support. Look forward to more videos. Going back and checking out your older content. What was that, Marsha? The fictitious Erod hate videos brought you to my channel. But hey, if that's not good enough for you, on the aforementioned Facebook group, Marsha shared the documentary and someone asked if she knew about my video on her husband. Yes, I do. And yeah, I cried and got my feelings hurt, but he had emailed Eric a while back and apologised. Recently, I found his Channel Awesome parodies. Thought they were funny and subscribed. I found out about the videos about Erod from the CV himself. Checked them out, cried, blew up the comments, annoyed him to death. Then we spoke privately. Eric was never upset about it because the Legion had defended him and he never saw them. I have proven that nearly every word of the thread from Marsha Kent Rodriguez, Mrs. Erod, has been a lie. I commented and got really angry and we ended up talking and he apologised. And then the documentary happened. Now at this point, I've been friends with him on Facebook for approximately 1 year and I subscribed to him on YouTube and I tried to support him. I tried to watch as many videos as I could as he posted them because that's what you do for people that you're hoping the best for. Eric didn't know this guy from Adam. Really? Then why did you say this on the very day that I apologised? April the 26th, 2018. I put my video on Erod on private for now. I'm close to deleting it. I hope you both are doing well. We are. He just said, leave the funny Englishman alone, Marsha. So he's good, just annoyed with me. I thought he didn't know me. He loved your skits. He watched them like 3 times and took over my computer. Marsha, your arguments aren't looking good now, love. They were never friends. Eric never pretended to be friends and Eric never trusted him. Regardless if we were friends or not, he talked to me like dirt. How many times do I need to say this? I don't care if we were friends or not. He was an asshole. But he was very grateful for his documentary and he was glad to do a cameo in one of Rob's videos because Rob was kind enough to donate to our 300th episode. Then Rob started getting power hungry, eating up the fact that Eric made a video promoting his documentary, eating up all the Change the Channel people that liked it and shared it and supported it. Is that enough of? Of course it's not. How did I eat this up exactly? You make these claims with no examples and no evidence. I made the documentary, people liked it. I did other videos on the subject, people liked them and wanted more. more. It's only now that they are suddenly backtracking, saying they never liked them and never liked me. Kind of like what you girls are doing. People liked them and wanted more. You liked them. You were replying to me, laughing it up, loving the videos. Then Rob sent a message to Erod, saying that he talked to a friend of Brad's and could Eric get Alison to talk to this friend of Brad's. That's what upset Eric. Erod felt that this guy was making himself out to be a part of the Channel Awesome producers and crossed the line. So why didn't he talk to me without being an asshole? But it's funny how he, nor anyone else involved with Change the Channel, has a problem with Soft Lavender constantly acting like she's a former Channel Awesome contributor. I'll also reiterate, Erod thinks I was pretending to be a Channel Awesome producer. Literally no other Channel Awesome producer that I spoke to felt this way. In fact, when I went to Holly with all this information, yeah, I don't know what to say because this is the first I've heard of it and he was supportive earlier. In fact, hey man, just wanted to say hi and that I appreciate all you've been doing for the video producers who are also friends of mine. I've worked with Matty Buck for years on Bad Movie Beatdown and we're good friends. I'm friends with Lewis, Brian, Holly, Kaylin and others. You're doing great. Your own friends are even saying I'm doing the right thing. He felt, and looking back, I agree to that. Rob was loving the attention. How dare I love the fact that the YouTube channel that I busted my ass on for 12 years was getting attention. Just remember how you were enjoying those drama videos, yeah? Do you remember that? Remember how you loved them? Encouraged me to do more because it was really funny? Yeah, just checking. And he was getting in too deep because of that attention. He was putting his nose in where it didn't belong and it wasn't needed, nor was it wanted, and all it was doing was making the victims uncomfortable. Yet, none of you said anything, and none of you reiterated this when I asked you to your face. Figuratively speaking, you know what I mean. It wasn't wanted, but you all laughed and liked and shared all the videos when it happened and acted nice when I spoke to you privately. And hey, Kaylin even asked for more. The hashtag was resurrected, got people talking about it again, which you were all thankful for, but that's irrelevant, I guess. It wasn't wanted. Eric tells me he's thinking about blocking Rob for this reason, but I tell him no, the guy's changed. Give him a chance. He thinks he's helping. You said you didn't know anything. But Eric got really upset the more Rob pushed for Alison to speak with Brad's friend, so he tells Rob don't message me again. When did I push? I have never had any private interaction with Alison whatsoever. So when I informed those I communicated with of this Skype call, I asked all of them in the same copy and paste message to pass it on to the rest of the Channel Awesome producers, including Alison. Where did I ever persist in that? That was it. I never asked again. He also tells him, if you message me one more time, I'm going to delete my support video and I'm going to block you. Rob messages him back, I'm sorry. But no, there was more to it than that. So Eric blocked him. The end. Rob is not a victim. No abuse occurred. He is just a guy who got butthurt because he was told to stop and didn't want to hear it. In that case, you are not a victim. You are just a girl who got butthurt because I made a video. Everyone's problems with me apply to Marsha. Rob's just a crybaby because Erod didn't want to be his friend. Marsha's a crybaby because I made fun of her husband. Yes, I thought he had changed, but the fact he took some stupid screenshots and made it seem like he is a victim shows he hasn't. Then counter them. You all use screenshots against Channel Awesome, but now all of a sudden it's wrong because you're guilty and can't counter them? I never said you made weekly hate videos, but fans did tell Eric that when he posted his support video. So you were taking your fans' word for it without evidence. You literally said we met through these hate videos. But now you're saying you don't know if the hate videos were real. Your fans just told you so, without evidence. You know like Brad does? You're acting as if Erod warned you about the blocking, but earlier you specifically said you had no idea and couldn't understand it. Mental health is important, however nothing was done to him that would exasperate mental health issues. So what happened to you, Marsha? Please let me know. You all made up lies about me and spread them all over social media. Nothing was done to you. Yet he lashes out at me and doesn't seem to care that the person he called a friend, me, wanted to kill herself over his betrayal. When did I lash out at you? You were the one who lashed out at me. I have literally done absolutely nothing to you this entire time, Marsha. I made a video about your husband. Issues I had with your husband. You posted the threads about me. By this logic, I can now say my girlfriend's depressed and it's your fault. Of course I care that you had these awful thoughts, and I'd never want you to follow through with them. Eric has no error of ways to learn. He's the one being the better person, whilst Rob posted a video out of rage which caused me, not Eric, to be abused and harassed for months. What? That sentence makes no sense. Firstly, the video wasn't out of rage. Anyone who's seen it can tell it was out of sadness and depression. Secondly, me doing a video on Erod caused you to be abused. How am I playing the victim here? You're blaming me for your mental health for things I did to your husband moments after saying you did nothing to me. You're blaming me for your harassment despite the fact that it was wrong for Brad and Laura to do that to Alison. People want Erod's apology. He doesn't owe Rob Bohr anything other than a slice of reality. And if you Twitter people think Erod treated people like shit, you seriously can't take his dry humor and probably shouldn't be on social media. Marsha, you couldn't handle a fucking Batman Forever response. You should be on the internet. If Erod blocked you, you deserved it. Why? Where? He didn't block you for no reason. No, just for disagreeing with his opinion. Also, I didn't expose Erod for no reason. Last thing I say before I block you for my own mental health concerns. Erod was appreciative of the documentary. You were never friends. That's not the point! I can talk to you like shit 'cause you're not my friend. If you thought you were, that's on you. The screenshots prove that he was being kind to you about the documentary and that's it. Right. And then an arsehole. Are we ignoring the arsehole bit after that? Also, can't we then just say, why are you all so upset? Channel Awesome were never your friends, and if you thought they were, that's on you. You have literally just given a non-apology yourself. Erod wasn't your friend. I'm sorry you felt that way. Except you can't even do that. You can't even say those two words. You are dismissing anyone's issues with blind stupidity, double standards, and hypocrisy. Curious how you're blocking him because of your mental health concerns. All the while, the mental health damage you've been doing to him apparently doesn't mean shit to you. Shh, it's okay when they do it. Shh. Rob is an abuser. He had the cycle of abusing, gaslighting, victim shaming, and then apologizing and doing it again. Repeat. This is true, but it's just weird coming from you. What are you actually referring to? Because I find it hard to believe that you're talking about Jimmy or Will. They're the two that would actually make sense, but you've not mentioned them up until this point. I'm determined to not make it happen again. Your husband mistreats people, doesn't apologize, and then continues doing it anyway. Maybe you just need to open your eyes, love. He's the abuser, and he is blaming me for things I never said. Moments after admitting I possibly didn't call you derogatory names, your entire thread is lies, making up stuff I never said or did, and I have given evidence to prove that. Marsha then blocked me, but of course, Holly retweeted her thread of lies and even shared those lies on Reddit without evidence, which, you know, she hated Brad for doing to Allison. But then, of course, Erod has to then throw his 2 cents in, because apparently Holly and Marsha and all of their thousands of followers attacking me at once just wasn't enough. All I want to say is that I broke ties with CV over lack of professionalism. I opted to stay silent as part of an effort to show Rob the professional courtesy he never showed me. My wife, however, decided not to extend him any such courtesy. Where was I unprofessional, Erod? You have yet to explain this. As a personal favour to me, I would like to ask all of you not to confront Rob about this. Ultimately, he just wants attention and I would prefer not to give it to him. Thank you. My life is not perfect, but you guys make it better. Unless you disagree with my opinion. This is what I mean by saying that these people are fake. Erod will go from telling people to go away and shut up and piss off if he doesn't agree with them to, you guys make my life. Yes, yes, I'm a lovely person. Yeah. It's also weird that they always went out and said, we do not condone any abuse to people at Channel Awesome. Please stop harassing them. But then they had no problem, all of them dogpiling me at once. All I've done is say, hey, this person, he has treated me horribly. That's all I've done. That is literally all I have done. Also, how did I treat you horribly? I've told people not to confront Rob and leave him be, and so has my husband. He never once shared us that courtesy. Well, I did for 2 months, until he started verbally abusing others. You sound so much like Brad Jones. It is unreal. These people are harassing me and it's your fault. But Brad, it's because you're being an asshole. These people are harassing me and it's your fault. The only one in the wrong here is Rob. He's too narcissistic to see it. This is a thing I get a lot. I have a big ego. If I had an ego, would I have collaborated with people who at the time of filming this have 9 subscribers? 129, 198, 65, 117, 130, 349, and 74. I have 11.7 thousand. In fact, in this year's Venom Month of Horrors, only one crossover is with somebody who has more subscribers than me. If I was arrogant, why did I offer to give you all the ad revenue? If I was narcissistic, why would I respond to subscribers' kind messages with personalized videos? Hey Tasha, sorry about the lighting. You're getting a personalized video. I just thought this would be easier than typing. Hey Will, I just thought I'd do this video because it's just easier than replying by text. Thank you for the support. I've been seeing a lot of your comments on my thread, so it means a lot. I received your message when I was at work. I actually nearly broke down crying. I'm sorry to hear about your troubles, so thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Why would I spend my 10,000 subscriber video special talking about the viewers and making it their day instead of mine? If I was narcissistic, why would I then contact JD Shadow when he was putting up suicidal tweets? Just to make sure that he was okay. If I was so narcissistic, why did I not take credit for the popularity of the documentary? Why do you think that the documentary got over 310,000 views? Why do you think it got all of the former Channel Awesome producers to watch it and share it? Why do you think it got people talking about Change the Channel again? It's not because I'm so gosh darn talented a documentarian. Why would I put my subscribers in 20 minutes of the 1,000 subscriber special video with me right at the end? Why would I neglect all the content I actually prefer making to do movie reviews instead for my subscribers? Why would I be doing a free giveaway competition? Why would I have a Discord to talk to my fans firsthand? If I'm the arrogant one, why did Lewis share the Voice from the Dark audio drama and literally spend an entire thread boasting about how amazing he was to work with? But then again, Erod shared the audio drama and literally called himself famous. But I'm the one with the ego. Erod, you have 19,000 subscribers. Calm down. You even admitted that you don't get ad revenue, so why are you claiming to be famous?
I am really sure that I am the most
popular Puerto Rican fanboy on the internet.
Yeah. Angry Joe would like a word. In fact, in that same video, Erod tries to make it to a Comic-Con asking fans for help.
I have tried to contact them and heard nothing from them. My dad has contacted them and heard nothing from them. My grandmother, who actually knows most of the people that organize events in Puerto Rico, has talked to everybody that she knows, and nobody seems to be getting back to her.
Everyone and their dog pestered a convention and got no response, and instead of taking the hint, he asked his viewers to also harass them. That's not professional. You have a go at me because I sent you too many messages and I pestered you and your affiliates. You literally harassed a convention and asked 19,000 people to also help you harass the convention. But if you're so famous, bro, they'd invite you. That's how conventions work. The funny thing is, he just wanted to volunteer. You're famous, but can't even get a convention to let you help for free. So you ask people to pester them. There's no two ways around it. That is literally what you asked them to do. I'm the crybaby who whines that Erod doesn't want to be my friend, but he throws a tantrum and begs for a convention to respond. Oh, and he's so famous that his own film school that he worked at for 12 years refused to let him borrow their equipment. Does anybody even like this guy? He had to beg to be on Channel Awesome. He has to beg to go to conventions. No one will let him have filming equipment. When he was on Channel Awesome, according to Holly, nobody liked the show and kept bitching about it. He even claims that Doug asked him for the To Boldly Flee cameo because fans harassed him to do so because he's so gosh darn famous. Even though he previously said,
surprise! It turns out I have a cameo in To Boldly Flee. The reason I didn't announce it earlier that I had a cameo in To Boldly Flee was because I wasn't sure whether my footage was actually going to make it onto the special.
So you didn't even know if you'd make the cut, so the fan outrage couldn't have been that extreme, bro. I mean, you've done a video advertising your merch and it didn't even hit 1,000 views. Here's what people, he gets more views than you. I never claimed to be famous. In fact, how can you mock demo reel when Erod did the exact same thing? He forked out loads of money on a terrible new show that nobody liked. Sucks, doesn't it, Eric? And how are you gonna slate Doug's unoriginality with demo reel being a rip-off when your fresh new show was a complete rip-off of Doug's clipless reviews? But hey, remember how Channel Awesome scammed people out of money? It's a good thing that Erod never did that, right? Right? Erod literally sold props and costumes from his super famous show, ridiculously cheap costumes and props that you can find on eBay for insane money-grabbing prices. Because he's just that famous. I've searched and it seems like he's deleted the video, so they'll deny it, but he literally was selling the Batman suit from his episode for like $80 or something ridiculous. You know, a bat suit that you can get on eBay for like $20, but a famous guy wore it, so it's worth more. Oh, and my good friend Luke chimed in to try to defend me. They didn't want to give me attention, but Erod and Allison had no problem dogpiling him instead. And yeah, this is around the time Allison actually did chime in. Initially, she was impartial, saying that what Erod said to me was harsh and wrong, but it didn't need to be in the video. I'll reiterate, why did you throw in petty or irrelevant stuff before? Even though mine was relevant. And hey, I'm then guessing you went to Erod to tell him it was wrong as well, right? During this, I admitted, fine, yeah, I shouldn't have put it in the video. I deleted it, and I even messaged Marsha and apologized again, despite doing nothing wrong. The video is deleted. Once you explained the problem, it was fine. That's kind of all I wanted, and I reacted the wrong way. Just wanted to know what I did wrong, you know? Regardless, it's gone. Take care. No response. These people want an apology so damn much, but show no respect when they get one. A further example, not long after Change the Channel began, the rap critic put up an entire thread about the Moulin Rouge incident. He didn't name me, but he posted this thread, and he was quite emotional, admitting how sorry he was for this incident and not stopping it. I actually did reply and admitted, yeah, this was me, and I apologized to Darren publicly. He didn't acknowledge me and didn't even respond. These people don't want an apology. But that's when Allison switched. Craig was back in, and of course she was still adamant that he was me, despite evidence, but Change the Channel don't like evidence, you see. But she still spoke to him as if he was me. What happened between you and Eric is between you and Eric. I can't apologise for him, nor am I or Holly responsible for him. That's true, but why is it whenever a fan had a grievance against Channel Awesome, any story, small or large, you catered towards? Now there's one where you admit Erod was in the wrong, and you wipe your hands and walk away. Kinda like what Channel Awesome did with you. Actually, no, I'm not his mother. I've said as much about him as I've said about Rob. Eric was rude. Rob shouldn't have put it in a video. I'm not any more responsible for that than I'm responsible for people lashing out at Brad. I'm sorry, if my friend was acting a dick... earlier Holly said you were family. If my family member was acting like a dick, I would call them out on it. You didn't. You allowed it. In fact, you say you're not watching James Rolfe just because he worked with Doug. But James isn't Doug's dad. He's not responsible for his actions. Your logic doesn't work. And finally, because she was so convinced that Craig was me, after a long argument, Alison finally showed her true colours. We're not friends. He is someone I've spoken to via tweet. Maybe Eric was right after all, because dude keeps trying to connect his personal beefs with shit that happened to us, and that's not okay. Appreciate the kind things he's said, but I'm not dying on the hill he's put us on. How did I connect my personal beef with what you went through? During all of this, I never denied what you went through. And again, she completely turned her back on me. Why? Because of Craig, who wasn't me. She's blaming me for another person's actions, which is what Brad did, and she hated him for. But hey, I should have expected this, based on how Alison replied to a simple defense. Anyone know who Obscure Looper is? Thanks for the defense, but you really didn't need to tag this to me. Has everyone in Change the Channel just purchased really tight underwear? Jesus! She'd also very often reply to YouTube comments in the very same rude manner, but it's okay because she has boobies. The thing is, during all of this, during the racial allegations too, someone said this to Rich. A joke between friends is one thing, but this sounds like when someone is accused of being a racist, then claim they have plenty of black friends. Yeah, their servants don't count. So to prove I'm a racist, they act racist. And this was during the Change the Channel argument, and nobody, not Holly, not Alison, none of them defended Rich. This was later reiterated to Holly's attention, and she still had the balls to doubt it. Someone called someone else a servant. Is this an actual thing that happened or more gaslighting? Marsha says anything. Immediately it's the truth. Someone says something with actual evidence. Did it really happen though? Rich actually pointed it out to Alison constantly. She ignored it. And during this, Rich called Marsha that dreaded C word, which led to this. Apparently I'm a C for standing up for my husband and myself, who was being harassed as a result of CV's actions. Hear that, Alison? You're the reason that Brad and his wife got all that harassment and abuse. If I'm the reason for Marsha's abuse, you're the reason for Brad's. These are CV supporters, folks. I thought you shouldn't blame people for others' actions. That's what Alison says right here. What's going on? Even Alison thinks you're wrong, Marsha. Also, I want to address this whole swatting thing. For the longest time I defended this, but didn't really look into it. Brad and Laura claimed that their home was swatted. Alison denies this, using screenshots to prove that the police were sent to Brad's home, having been informed that he had committed suicide on the day of her father's funeral, but he wasn't swatted. Have you looked up the definition of swatting, Alison? Swatting is an internet prank / crime where someone finds your address either through your IP or because your name and location is known. Then they call 911 anonymously and report a fake emergency. Example, someone can call and say that someone at that address is being held at a gunpoint, or someone is going to commit suicide, and a SWAT team would be dispatched to the address. That's pretty much what happened. Are you really going to argue semantics? He wasn't swatted because it was a policeman who turned up, and not a SWAT team. Wow. I am sorry, Brad and Laura, for doubting that story. However, that does not excuse the fact that he then made up the lie that the Change the Channel team celebrated on Facebook. And this is when the Change the Channel team proved that they have no regard of people's well-being outside of their own inner circle. Remember when they slammed Channel Awesome for only catering towards the Chicago crew? Well, now they have done the exact same thing with their own small clique. I'd just like to take the time to state that I am officially done with Change the Channel. Obviously, Channel Awesome are in the wrong, and the victims will forever have my sympathy and pity. I'm now questioning a lot of what Change the Channel has said because of these lies and manipulation. Bear in mind, I didn't say all of it. And I was upset and distressed, so you exaggerate the situation, hence why I said a lot. Things have been twisted and words put in my mouth. Change the Channel individuals are blocking people, refusing to apologise for outbursts and disregarding blame. Like someone else we know. I have screenshots where Marsha, Holly, Mike J, Kaylin, and via another individual, Alison, all had no idea why Erod had his outburst. I was insulted and discarded randomly with no explanation. Lies were then spread about me that I'm racist, taking things out of context, or that I broke a promise to Marsha, all of which isn't true and was proven with screenshots. However, there are individuals involved that have shown their lack of empathy for anyone outside of their own inner circle. Hypocrisy has been displayed, and I am deeply hurt when I only wanted to help this movement. I'm done with Change the Channel. Take care. The problem isn't that Holly, Erod, or Marsha spoke to me poorly, it's that I lashed back and defended myself. That's where we're at. The whole movement can go fuck itself. The documentary is gone. Peace. I was in a mess. I can't even describe it. When I've spent nearly 2 years defending these people, and they've lied so easily and manipulated things to paint me as this person I'm not, it floored me. I realise now more than ever just how much I'd affected people like Jimmy, his girlfriend, Will Walker, his ex, Naomi Sanders, and others. I reached out and I apologised to them deeply. Not sure if you've seen, but the past 48 hours have been hell for me. Change the Channel have turned on me and I feel attacked on a scale I've never quite experienced before, setting my depression off majorly. Lies have been spread about me and things have been twisted over social media, and I feel universally bullied. It's put a lot into perspective for all the people I've done this same thing to. Now I know what it feels like. I don't expect to be buddies again or anything, but I just wanted to reach out and say, now I know what it feels like. I'm truly sorry for ever putting you through anything like this before. I really am. They didn't forgive me, but you know what? I don't blame them. I don't deserve their forgiveness after how I had treated them. It's funny that only after I had privated the documentary did Change the Channel change their tune. And I got a DM from Suede. Hey man, listen, I don't know what the deal is between you and Erod and Holly and everything else. Please don't explain it to me. It doesn't involve me and I'll only add more cooks to the kitchen. But there is one element that does involve me that I need you to understand. I'm hearing you took down the doco and are questioning Change the Channel. If you're disillusioned towards some of the people involved, that's between you and them, but there are a lot more people involved than just them. The document had statements from lots of people who really were hurt, including myself, and I don't want their stories disregarded because some of the others are called into question. Do you understand? You can have some bad blood with some producers, but I promise you that the issues were real because I lived it. I sincerely hope you understand and take this into account. This was a very fair message, and Suede was a great guy about it and made a valid point, so I deleted the thread about questioning Change the Channel and I made the documentary public again. However, despite this, I continued to get an endless amount of hate on Twitter. I couldn't keep up with the notifications and nobody stepped in. My problem here is I spent nearly 2 years defending these people, and when I'm being dogpiled online, not one of them decides to chime in and say, hey guys, let's calm down and cool off. Lay off him a little bit. Instead, they watch from the sidelines while their friends all jumped me at once. And this was the perfect example. I tweeted this, tears streaming down my eyes, and a Change the Channel person replied and didn't give a shit. Instead of Erod learning the error of his ways, Holly defended it. He tries to justify it, and Allison has even tried to sidestep it. Change the Channel is full of shit and clearly only cares about themselves. From someone with chronic depression, I regret helping these people. I regret making the documentary. I regret reaching out. I regret standing up to Channel Awesome. I regret my channel getting subs through it. It's not worth it, and I just hope they can live with themselves. They may not be as bad as Channel Awesome, but these scumbags have gone out of their way to hurt others, justify it, and then ignore the pain they've inflicted. They're disgusting human beings, and I am sorry I ever tried to help them. I am truly sorry. I've admitted making it public was wrong, but because someone was suicidal afterwards, which I'd have no way of knowing, it's still my fault. Yet all of Change the Channel abusing me like this has put me in a slump of depression with similar thoughts. Still my fault. Fuck you guys. Dina, aka Cybercat, saw this post admitting that I'm now having suicidal thoughts and wanted to die, a post that was clearly begging for help, a scream for help. She disregarded all of that and said this: disappointed to see you throw all of Change the Channel under the bus after having a bad run-in with like 3 people from it. I was staying out of this because I considered it to be just between you guys. But saying that all of us involved with it are full of shit and only care about ourselves is ridiculous. I mean, there were a lot of us. Just because we all added something to a document doesn't make us all part of a hive mind. Again, Dina and I used to chat quite a lot, and she completely ignored the fact that I was now considering killing myself. She only cared about her and Change the Channel's reputation. It's a fair point. I shouldn't have painted all of Change the Channel with the same brush, but I was distraught and upset. You all preach mental health awareness, but completely sidestepped when I announced I was thinking suicidal thoughts. Allison claimed it was for attention, and this is why men don't speak up. I mean, Marsha preached about her suicidal thoughts, and you all lapped it up, but when I talk about mine, it's suddenly irrelevant. Is it because she's in your inner circle, so your guys' mental health are the only ones that matter, or is it because she's a woman? Because speaking of which, during the same argument, someone claimed I fell into an anti-feminism rabbit hole. When? How? In fact, I defended feminism previously, but where was this during this whole ordeal? Many women randomly brought gender into it, claiming we were attacking Holly and Allison because they're women. Which doesn't make any sense because my beef started with Erod, who I'm fairly certain is a man, but gender was literally never brought up in this argument. We never used any derogatory terms or anything. It's just, oh, they're arguing with a woman, must be sexist. And if you just scroll Allison's feed, it was filled with women hating men and then slamming men for not liking it. Anyone who argued, shut up man, your opinion is irrelevant. You doubt my mental health but cater to hers instantly. Do I need to show you my doctor records or the copious amounts of antidepressants I have to chug to try to fix my brain? I've come to the conclusion I just don't want to be here anymore. This isn't a suicide note because like I said, I can never do that to Eric. But I'm done trying. I've been locked up alone in my flat with nothing but my thoughts to keep me company when Eric's not around. I see no point trying social groups. It will only end in more heartbreak and pain. My own best friend of 20 years no longer tries to see me, so why would anyone else? Just remaining in my prison of a flat, slowly losing my sanity. I literally have to expose my entire personal life to prevent lies being spread about me. So you hate Channel Awesome for being sexist, but you're sexist. You hate it when women are being sexualized, but it's cool for Lindsay to sexualize David Bowie. And then of course this thumbnail. And this is when I started to doubt the claims of sexism at Channel Awesome. Where was the sexism, ladies? You claim Mashad had a tendency to bully women in the same Google document where there were grievances of men being bullied and sexually harassed. It was clear that women weren't the only ones targeted. I used to believe that the company allowing Brad and Noah certain privileges that the ladies weren't granted was a sign of sexism. But the more I thought about it, Brad and Noah were more popular video creators. From a company's standpoint, it makes more sense to promote the more popular producers. Lindsay Ellis was the most popular female creator, and not once did she file any complaints about lack of promotion or not getting Patreon on a video or anything like that. She also cites sexism but doesn't give any details. Only 3 people actually checked in to see that I was okay. None were former Channel Awesome producers. In fact, one was a current Channel Awesome producer, Guru Larry, who you all still support by the way, claiming it's okay because he stays on the site as a joke. Surely if Channel Awesome is as bad as you claim, even staying as a joke wouldn't make it okay. And the other 2 were Misanthroponi and the Irritated Critic. Nobody else cared. Holly then proceeded to go on Reddit and claim that me blaming them for my depression was ludicrous the same day she was blaming me for Marsha's. The lack of self-awareness is astounding. Erod also continued to take take jabs at Channel Awesome, still not professional. And when nobody got it, he literally had to tweet again. Hey guys, you hear it? Did you? Did you? Did you? Yeah, I'm mock Channel Awesome, huh? Did you get that one? Yeah, yeah. And Erod's lies just grew more and more absurd. One criticism was that Doug always made the other producers act just like him in the anniversary movies. Well, let's just take a look at his crossover with Erod.
By the power invested in me by the Legion of Badassitude, cease and desist all your bad movie busting activities. So put that hammer down before I put you down.
Oh, you overly dramatic douche nozzle!
You know, it's funny. I don't recall the Nostalgia Critic episode where Doug busts a movie with a hammer. And then Erod actually has Doug cower in fear of him. Yeah, I have the ego, but Erod makes the Nostalgia Critic afraid of his 2'1" ass. First of all, it's important to know that I stopped being a Nostalgia Critic fan long before ChangeTheChannel. In fact, it was September 2011. Yep, it was exactly when I joined Channel Awesome. But your crossover with Doug wasn't until 2015. Why did you do a crossover with Doug if you hated him? I mean, your thread continues to run about how his attitude angered you over something so petty and you didn't like his work anyway. So did you use him for views, bro? Because that's what you say about me. That's pretty shitty. And, you know, morally wrong. But Erod, your wife nearly divorced you because you chose Channel Awesome over her. So you just said you didn't support Doug in 2011, and yet you continue to obsess and support an abusive asshole and gave him preferential treatment over your own wife. What's even more pathetic is that Allison and Holly ran blockchains, which basically means they will block anyone who follows Channel Awesome or Brad Jones. And Holly then ran one on me. Everyone knows about CV. I don't know why some people still follow, but that's not my problem anymore. You wondered why anyone would follow me, as if there's no possible way someone could ever disagree with your perception of me based on your lies. You block anyone who likes someone's work that you're against. And if you want to say it's because Rich used that dreaded C word, newsflash, we refer to men as the same thing. If you're a man, regardless of gender, you can still be one. For liking something. Yeah, but only when it's Brad or Channel Awesome. One patron turned his back on me much to their delight, but he was still supporting Tamra, so I guess he can piss off too, right? In fact, Todd in the Shadows is still buddies with Tamra. Allison said she was just as bad as Doug, so why haven't you blocked Todd? It's clear you have all these rules, but they only apply when you want them to. But even when this thumbnail was released, Marsha even started one on me. This is pathetic. But Allison and Holly, Naomi Sanders often tweets you support. She's really supportive of your work, but she met PewDiePie and always defends him against the controversies. Why aren't you blocking her? You said, Holly, you'd block anyone who supports PewDiePie. Oh dear, guess Naomi's blocked. And Holly even claimed that she didn't block Kaylin because she knows that she wasn't the one showing me her tweets. Your Twitter was public, Holly. No one was showing me your tweets, but your Twitter was public. The Google document laughed at Doug for not understanding technology, but Holly thought people were showing me her tweets on a public Twitter. Not long after, she went private and I guess realized how it worked. Soon after, Allison announced that she was going to go back and edit out any appearance of Brad Jones in any of her work. No, seriously. What makes this hilarious is that Allison literally ripped on Doug Walker for doing this exact same thing with Sci-Fi Guy. So, looks like Nostalgia Critic got around to reviewing Road Chip. I'm amused that not only did he not mention me, he seemed to deliberately edit around the shots where I'm the most visible. Lol, that's hilarious. Of course he did. I'll ignore the fact that Sci-Fi Guy is one of the people still buddies with Doug. So what even is the point of this movement anymore? You hate him and take the piss publicly, but you remain his friend? But also, why are you still watching him anyway? So many people did this in the ChangeTheChannel movement, claiming they hate the NC, but then they're promoting his work further by bitching about it. Look at the review of The Wall. You all promoted it so people went to watch it to see for themselves, going completely against the entire purpose of the movement. Change the channel, not maybe stick around on the channel for hate sometimes. Regardless, a guy called Zach replied to this post and gave a civilized suggestion. What if, instead of editing the past and pretending like it didn't happen, example Disney with Song of the South, why don't you just let the stuff be and just move past all of it? Keep the anger and hatred, sure, but in terms of your content, why not just move forward? This is a very valid point. Even Kaylin didn't discard her movie honoring a sexual predator, you know, that Holly knew about and, you know, just sat back and didn't tell her about. But ChangeTheChannel seemed to have a tendency to respond badly to criticism. This was her response. If I see one more damn fucking rando telling me to be the better person, trying to be some kind of fucking good Samaritan, I'm gonna jump through the screen and strangle them. I can take Brad out of my videos if I fucking want to, because I'm sick of seeing that victim-blaming asshole's face. I can make dark jokes on my channel if I want to. PewDiePie can make dark jokes if he wants to. And the weird thing is, this is specifically exactly what you all complain to Channel Awesome about. Them saying it's their site, they can do what they want, so which one is it? And also, Alison, it's not your channel. This kind of mentality is what will inevitably destroy your own channel. Thinking this is my channel, I can do whatever I want is moronic. I work in retail, and although I joke about the customers, the service to them is the most important part of the business. Without customers, you have no job or business. And without subscribers, you have no YouTube channel. They are literally what continues and grows your channel. So you saying I can do what I want, don't tell me what to do, makes you look even worse and more like the arrogant one. Furthermore, this was weeks after admitting that Erod was rude to me, and then she does this to another person? I've spoken to Zach a lot since then, and no apology was given, but they're nothing like Channel Awesome. I'm sick of having his fucking stink on me. Take a shower then. Maybe that will help my mental health instead of being the better person. The fuck does that mean? Not this. And like, they always think they're the first person to bring this up, like they suddenly earned a psychology degree or become the Mother Teresa of Twitter. Oh yes, you're right. You, random person I've just met, you know how to solve all my problems, and why am I so pissy at someone just trying to make peace? Because I'm so fucking sick of being patronized by these fucking assholes who know jack shit. You can handle 2 seconds being cut out of the Birdemic review, you fucking asshole. Leave me alone and stop trying to diagnose people on Twitter. And you know what's going to happen now? There's going to be some Reddit thread about my latest meltdown or how hysterical I'm being because I'm not allowed to be angry or defend myself. That's exactly what I was doing. And you all dogpiled me and made me want to commit suicide. I defend myself and I'm playing victim and doing it for attention. Alison or Marsha do it and oh, mental health and oh, she's getting attacked. Maybe I should just do interviews laughing at dead fucking bodies and I'll be the most popular YouTube out there. Maybe then I'll be the better person. Zach then was upset at how he was treated and blocked her, leading to Alison and her friends laughing about it. So if she blocks you, it's haha, I blocked you, what a loser. And if you block her, haha, he blocked me, what a loser. These are grown adults. So I'm begging for attention, but Alison then responds to constructive and polite criticism like that. She responds to, let's try and work things out like adults, to swearing and stomping her feet like a toddler. Or is this okay because you're a woman and I'm not? Or is it okay because you're going through a difficult time? And then Alison proceeded to wait for Brad's wedding anniversary to make the accusation that he flashed some minors. No evidence whatsoever. Soft Lavender used the Google document as concrete evidence that Juario nearly got rehired, so that's the basis of evidence with these people. That guy raped a man! How'd you know? This bit of paper said so. They hate Brad for making baseless claims, but now they've done it. Alison even went on to claim it was ridiculous to believe that Cinemassacre cut ties with Channel Awesome because it was hearsay with no evidence. These people must know they're speaking bollocks. And she only cares about the Brad crap because of her own well-being. Genuinely. He gets through heartbreak and pain and she's only concerned because it will affect her life. What's that? Brad's mum got hit by a car. Oh great, now everyone's gonna believe it's me. My life is so distressed. And then she claims that Brad only cares about his mental health while they all ignored mine. They must know. Don't you see? Change the Channel have done everything Channel Awesome are guilty of. Protected a sexual predator, made up lies about people, twisted things out of context, put the blame elsewhere and denied absolutely any wrongdoing whatsoever, showed clear signs of manipulation, sexism, disregard of mental health, and violent bullying. It seems that Change the Channel aren't too different to the people that they set out to destroy. They never wanted an apology, and I know this because they continue to slam PewDiePie, who apologized for his mistakes. I wanted to help advertise Change the Channel at one point and suggested getting Keemstar to discuss it on Drama Alert. I was then slammed for this because he's been a dick in the past, but he apologized for that incident.
I don't feel proud at all. I feel ashamed. I feel like a fucking dirtbag, like an asshole, like a fucking I feel horrible. I want to fix it. I don't ever want to fuck up like this again. I don't ever want to fail you like this again. I'm sorry. I want to apologize.
And when I apologized, both by Holly, Marsha, and the rap critic, I got ignored. They never wanted an apology. They just wanted a toxic environment and for everyone around them to agree. In fact, Holly and I were sworn to complete secrecy for this, but then she went to Reddit to make it public. But I'm the unprofessional one. I mean, here's messages of this guy saying it was completely confidential and we shouldn't be speaking it out, and this was the agreement on both sides. Holly, why are you being so unprofessional? These people saw my documentary and wanted to make an impartial one. They wanted to make a film about internet fame and drama. They wanted to talk to Change the Channel and Channel Awesome, see both sides and put them all in one documentary. They asked to meet with me in London and I did. They wanted to talk about my experiences and what I knew, and they asked for my help to reach others involved with Change the Channel. This led to Kaylin obliging with a Skype call, but Holly kept ignoring them, even admitting it here. It's only been a few days. Okay, so you're deliberately ignoring them? What? This was the opportunity for an unbiased telling of the story and suddenly you don't want to help? This shows the kind of people that we're dealing with. Marsha once told me privately that these trolls can't call Alison a bitch because they've never met her. Yet they've all judged me without having met me. You think you know me based on what's online, that's it. That shows you are a weak-minded individual who is easily swayed. This video isn't an attempt to convince anyone. Look at me, I'm a decent person. It's to explain that these people have lied and I have proven it to you. This whole incident, these people made me want to quit doing this. This was my passion and my dream, and you made me want to say screw it and just walk away from it all for my own good. But I'm not going to let you take this away from me. I love this far too much, I love my subscribers, and I love what I do. I'm not going to apologise for who I am, and I am not going to apologise for my humour. I refuse to do that. I spoke to Mike, and he was right. I feed into drama, and that has to change. This is the turning point for me. I'm done. I'm focusing on myself now, and that's it. My content, my creativity. Make videos about me, spread lies, go on Reddit, tweet that I eat live animals, slap old ladies, and fist babies. That's a reflection on you and not me. I'm done with you all. You are nothing to me anymore. You can't hurt me any further. It's time to change the channel to someone else.